was unable to walk during that arrest, as well as stomping on his genitals. I'm Andrea Tice.
For more news affecting Alabamians, go to 1819news.com. And while you're there, subscribe to the daily newsletter.
For reliable electrical services in Central Alabama, trust the experts at Crosby Electric. Crosby's licensed and insured electricians are ready to tackle any project for your home, from troubleshooting, repairs, to installing new lighting and preventive maintenance. And Crosby understands the need for quality service for small business. Crosby is big enough for the largest job, yet small enough to bring real value. Visit CrosbyElectric.com to schedule your service. Crosby, powering Central Alabama with excellence.
Attention! If you owe money to the IRS, this is an urgent message. The IRS is cracking down by sending out collection letters, garnishing paychecks, seizing bank accounts, and putting liens on homes and businesses. They call it enforced compliance, and you better watch out because penalties and interest on unpaid taxes compound daily, making it even harder to get out of debt. Don't let tax debt destroy your life. You need to call Optima Tax Relief, America's #1 tax resolution firm. They're experts in taxpayer assistance programs that can save you thousands if you qualify. A+ rated by the Better Business Bureau, Optima's resolved over $1 billion of tax debt for their clients. Let them fight on your behalf, helping to put your tax problems to rest. Call the tax professionals at Optima now for a free consultation.
Call 800-367-6289. 800-367-6289. 800-367-6289.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
The views and opinions of the following program are solely those of the host and other contributors. These do not necessarily represent those of Liberty Acquisitions 825, Blue Water Broadcasting, its management, staff, or any advertisers. It's time for Montgomery's conversational radio show. It's news and views on News Talk 93.1 FM. To join the conversation, call 272-9228.
Joey Clark.
Welcome into the program. What a night last night. What a night for a big old speech that much of the American viewership, they liked it, 70-something%. Or if you're looking at CNN's numbers, I mean, who can you trust these days? But let's trust CNN for a second.
Okay.
69%.
Nice.
Nice indeed. Of course, that's the voice of Eddie Bader here in the studio, wearing his Alabama home mortgage shirt.
Yes.
I like you repping the sponsors here.
I had conversations with her this morning. I can't wait to do the commercial. I learned some things.
Okay. And we've had so much to get to, especially coverage of the speech last night. But keeping the tradition going as we do on Wednesdays, we have Jeff Poor, host of the Jeff Poor Show. I was on his show this morning at the State House, folks, and he's also editor-in-chief at 1819news.com. Jeff, how you doing today, sir?
Doing well. Thanks for having me on.
Thank you for being on. So just your general reaction to the big old speech in front of Congress last night.
Very effective. I thought it was, Trump probably, my only complaint was it was too long, but otherwise, I mean, he cornered Democrats. It was strategic. He put them in this corner, and he just dared them not to applaud some of the stuff he was going to be speaking of. And I just think he accomplished this, if anything. Now, from a policy perspective, I think there were some good policy points, but he accomplished just making this Trump derangement syndrome to be this sort of petty phenomenon. And it's not, there's nothing, it kind of hollows out, I believe, the whole, like, the never Trump Democratic argument. I mean, it just, that was the textbook example of it last night.
Yeah, and in particular, I've seen a lot of these at this point, but the Representative Al Green standing up with his walking cane, and I've never seen somebody thrown out of the chamber before, which is, even looking at more Democrat-friendly media, they, I think, have described it as petulant children.
No, and I would say this, Joey. Watch how long this news cycle lasts with that address last night. I bet it's over I bet it's over by now, that they're not talking about it anymore. But I think that's such an important point because they know it's a loser. Like that's your tell. How much time do they spend on this? Here's your good baseline. When Marco Rubio gave the State of the Union response, how long did we talk about Marco Rubio in the water or whatever?
Right.
When it's to their advantage, it's like a week-long news cycle. Today, I'm going to bet you money, and I haven't watched anything. I've been up here at the State House all day, that this is put down the memory hole in very short order.
Yeah, I think you're right about that, but some of this will live on. I thought the placards were lame. And I always love, it's like, we're empowered modern women, empowered modern liberal women. What are we going to do to show solidarity against the mean orange fascist Trump? Oh, how about this, girls? Let's wear matching outfits. And it's
Well, then there
really
were some that had written things on their outfits as well in marker.
Oh, yeah, it was very classy.
Right.
Yeah.
Did that move you, Joey? Like it did me? Like now? Have you seen the light now?
Well, it depends on how you moved. Like I was more like, oh, this just these folks are wretched. But it is good to see the Republican folks actually cheering something on and a little bit of change. It broke this morning. The Supreme Court has ruled that President Trump must unfreeze just shy of $2 billion in foreign USAID payments. I believe Roberts and Amy Coney Barrett siding with the liberals on the court. Alito writing a scathing dissent. Are you shocked by this? That the SCOTUS, especially after the praise last night, is saying, nope, you can't freeze these payments?
Well, I'm a little disappointed, but this is what we get. Like every time we have these discussions about who is on the court. And in the instance, we go with these Federalist Society types who are from the elite schools, or they're like an elite denomination of some religion or whatever. It's either Catholic, Jewish, or whatever. And they got to go to the right schools. They're all Ivy League educated. I mean, I don't think that the High Court is really a representation of the country. I find what Republicans are doing is they're putting these people on the court for the exact same kind of people that they're rebelling against through this whole populist movement.
Yeah, and we'll see maybe some of the bigger questions. It could be the courts picking their shots. This was a very narrow ruling. I think, though Alito's dissent, which I'll read here in a second if you're out there listening, folks, pretty scathing, and you don't normally hear the type of language he uses in the opening preamble in a Supreme Court dissent. So we'll have to see going down the road there. Now, as you said, as I was there at the State House this morning. What's going on today? Kind of what's going on this week? I know next week they'll have the week off, but what's the sense of what might happen in the next few days here?
Well, I think there's it's a bunch of small things. Nothing that's going to really, I think, be really exciting for this audience. I think the veterans bill's still looming out there, and there's a lot of interest in that. But I don't think that's going to – they don't have the votes right now for that. And that's probably the struggle, trying to move votes. But there's – the problem for them on the whole veterans saga, Joey, is they're going to have to do something different from what the Senate had done. And there's going to be a new bill that the House comes out with. That's going to force the two chambers to go to conference. They'll go to conference. Maybe they'll broker a deal. Maybe they get it done after the BIR, but this is a slow-moving ball, and the governor needed it to be fast-tracked. I don't think it's good for the prospects of redoing the entire Veterans Administration for this to go on longer and longer and longer. That's why the governor wanted it done so fast. It creates more fodder for the chattering class, like guys like me, to cause problems for the proponents.
Absolutely, and I don't think the veterans who are strongly against this and been very active against it are going away anytime soon. I think they're going to keep people's feet to the fire. How do you think Ivy is looking right now in the eyes of a lot of voters in the state? I asked folks on Facebook, and a lot of the comments, what do you think about Kay Ivey? I couldn't read on air. I know there are a lot of people who voted her in the general election, but I almost feel like it was the dismissal of that Republican women's group from a dinner at the governor's mansion that really tipped the scales a little bit in the eyes of some Alabamians.
I mean, if that's what it takes, and so be it. I mean, we lived through Kay Ivey as governor during COVID. We lived through Kay Ivey raising gas tax. We lived through Kay Ivey doing a lot of things, Governor Blackface. So just a lot of little things. And she's been Teflon K. She still has high approval ratings. She wins her elections by big margins. And I say this all the time, like, what other takeaway could there possibly be from the Kay Ivey election results to be that more of the same? That is a mandate for more of the same, because she dominates in such a way, and it doesn't stop at just the ballot box. It continues in these morning consult quarterly surveys. He remains one of the most popular governors in the country. Is this what gets her? I don't know. I'm just surprised that she's survived as long as she has without any sort of any pushback more than she's got.
Well, we'll see how it plays out, but I think you're right. They don't have the votes, or else they would have already done this thing. So, again, we'll see how it plays out. But speaking of the governor's chair, Punchbowl News throwing out there that Tuberville really is considering running for governor. He's going to make his decision in May. He says, this is something I know you probably heard it more than me. I have people saying Tuberville's running for governor. I have the next person say, no, that's just a rumor. I heard it from his staffer. It's just a rumor. And so to see it on Punchbowl and directly from the horse's mouth, so to speak, what do you think? How would that affect the 2026 cycle? Tuberville running for governor.
He clears the field. The field was going to be pretty clear anyway with Ainsworth, but he clears the field. Ainsworth probably has to run for Senate or not run for anything at all. There's nothing else out really that he would be eligible for. He's not going to. There's not going to be a congressional seat. Adderholt's not retiring, so that's that. So I guess suddenly becomes the interest becomes, well, Tuberville will probably win that race, or at least the nomination, and then the race. Who runs for the state's U.S. Senate seat? Now, I hear from a lot of people that they wouldn't mind seeing Will Ainsworth in the U.S. Senate. That he's just more on brand. He's more, and then that's from this town and this building. Mm-hmm. And they may not like Coach as governor, but the consolation prize isn't that bad.
Well, we'll see how it shakes out, but it's that would be a huge thing, and it'd be interesting to see beyond just the popularity what sort of ideas, who are the policy people that Coach Tuberville puts around himself.
And like, where is he on like gambling and prisons and extending the overtime tax exemption and the grocery tax and school choice and all of these different little, all these different things that really the governors are talking about that the other politicians, even in this state, are talking about. We don't know. I mean, for all we know, Coach could be like pro gambling, or where is he on that? I don't know. But these are like, I think, some very important questions that remain to be asked. And
maybe this is what he's looking at and mulling over. Before I let you go, have you buried the hatchet yet with Bobby Singleton?
No, Booby's still upset with us, and not just me, but my radio show and a regular guest on the show, Chris Elliott. But no, it's we'll have more to say about Leader Singleton's comments about our criticism of the abuse of the Senate rules and the filibuster. And I tell this by eyes all the time, Joey. In 2023, I think this is probably true of 2024. There were two state senators who spoke 3 times as much as the other 33 senators combined, Bobby Singleton and Roger Smitherman. And they are 2 Democrats and a Republican supermajority. This would not have been tolerated when Democrats ran this town. I don't know why it's being tolerated now.
Now, if you had to choose between listening to Smitherman talk about what he had for lunch or Booby talking about, I guess, apartheid and Elon Musk, which do you choose?
I find Smitherman to be a relatively pleasant guy, and Singleton, he's a pleasant guy too when he's away from the microphone. He'll come slap you on the back, and they're like, "Well, that's just part of the whole pro wrestling thing."
Yep.
But like to me, Joey, I find it's such a bad taste, and that it could be stopped.
Yeah, y'all are acting like the old Confederacy. See you at dinner.
Yeah.
Well, I appreciate it as always, Jeff. If folks want to check out what you're writing about, thinking about, how can they do so?
X.com/Jeff_Poor.
Appreciate it. Do it again soon. Again, folks, that is Jeff Poor, editor-in-chief there at 1819news.com. And it's been good. It's been getting me out of my my hobbit hole, having to go down there to the State House.
Meeting some good folks down there?
Yeah.
Good deal.
It's old Dave Mowry.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he shared a fun Nixon anecdote.
It's not hard to see, Dave Mowry.
Yeah, I thought, like, I'm not tall, as you constantly have reminded me. But when I stand next to you and talk to you, I don't feel like I'm short, honestly. Like,
I feel short around Dave.
Yeah.
One of the best things we ever had, and I think Jack was there too, was had Dave posted with a picture. Oh, I can't think of we used to have a vendor, and she was short, very pretty. And you talk about like 4 foot difference between the two. It looked like Dave sitting next to a 5-year-old.
Oh, yeah. Now, if you run into Wesley Britt down there, I'm like,
oh, well, there's another one. Yeah.
Hi, sir. How are you?
Hey, how you doing, man? Yeah.
I feel like a child.
You when you run into Wesley, you should say, hey, man, come on the show. Bring him on the show.
Sure.
That's what I'm telling you. Bring him on the show.
Like tell war stories about football.
I think we'll have a good time with him just like we do with Joe. I think he can be a bro. I think we need to bring him on into the fold.
Sure.
Okay. Well, if not, then...
no, we can.
I think
I'm happy to ask. Yeah. So what did you enjoy about the speech last night?
Dude, thought was funny because, for one, Trump could talk.
Mm-hmm.
I enjoyed him calling folks out. I really did. But I did not enjoy the shenanigans. And that's what I was worried about.
There were a lot of shenanigans. But I told you. You brought up decorum.
I thought Al Green... I thought was just over the top, and granted, both sides got a little something out of that, but come on, man.
Yeah, no, there's even like Democrat-friendly press, like Politico, saying no, they were like petulant children, and it wasn't just the Al Green moment. There were folks saying who were in the room, in the gallery, and whatnot, saying no, it was even worse. You could barely hear the president in the room because there were constant little like outbursts and little hissing sounds and.
Well, when they couldn't applaud
people clicking their claws together,
when they couldn't applaud some of the great things that, whether they like it or not, Trump had things to do with, that just disappointing.
Well, and
we're better than that.
I love that Trump, to their face, said, "There's nothing I can do to please any of you people. You won't applaud for anything." But actually, it was wrong. They did applaud.
Oh,
for one thing.
What was that?
They applauded for sending billions of dollars to Ukraine. And in fact, kind of obnoxiously so.
Yeah.
Like it was sort of that aggressive clap. Like, we'll clap for that because you're a Putin puppet. We know that you're not a leader of the free world.
Right. They're all in denial. It's just denial.
Yes, they are. Well, and especially as Trump is saying, I want the killing to stop.
I thought Democrats were
2,000 folks a week, if not more, dying as y'all sitting there like with your passive-aggressive clapping.
Man.
So here's that moment that then led to, I think, my favorite line of the night. That was impromptu. That was clearly not pre-written. This is the moment I speak of.
No end in sight. The United States has sent hundreds of billions of dollars to support Ukraine's defense with no security, with no anything.
That's the Democrats clapping. I'm like just keeping it going.
Do you want to keep it going for another 5 years? Yeah, you would say Pocahontas says yes.
Love that. There was another moment, and I think the cameraman had tips on some of this.
Yeah.
But he said something, and they put the camera on Omar.
Elon.
And she was just...
Or Ilhan.
Yeah, whatever. She was fuming. And that was a good moment in my life right there.
Oh, she was quite upset.
Yes.
And there are moments when Trump is reading all this wasteful stuff, I thought just the first minute of this was genuinely funny. Like, it was like he was doing a comedy
Yeah.
routine, just
Doing a
broke
bit.
into it. Yeah. We've got that moment right here.
Just listen to some of the appalling waste
Yeah.
we have already identified. $22 billion from HHS to provide free housing and cars for illegal aliens. $45 million for diversity, equity, and inclusion scholarships in Burma. $40 million to improve the social and economic inclusion of sedentary migrants. Nobody knows what that is.
That's hysterical.
$8 million to promote LGBTQI+ in the African nation of Lesotho, which nobody has ever heard of. $60 million for indigenous peoples and Afro-Colombian empowerment in Central America. $60 million. $8 million for making mice transgender. This is real.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is real.
That's
sadly.
so frustrating.
It's sadly very, very real. Hey, this part of the program brought to you by Montgomery Men's Health. And they're at Montgomery Men's Health. They're ready to help you fellas out. If you're feeling run down and tired, seriously, physically lacking that sort of energy and drive, including no sex drive to speak of, but you also have this mental fog. Like you can't focus. You don't know what's wrong with you. And especially now you're losing muscle mass and seeing unwanted weight gain. And it's not like you're eating more. It's not like your diet changed or your workout habits, your activity levels change. Well, if all this is happening to you, it could very well point to low testosterone. Right. And the providers there at Montgomery Men's Health can conduct a testosterone lab workup plus a consultation for only $99. What does that mean? It's just a quick blood draw. And then they ask you a few basic quality of life questions. And if you do, in fact, have low T, they get that score back. They're like, yeah, this is pretty low. They have treatments there, a whole menu of treatments that can truly change men's lives. Men, after treatment, can experience higher energy, better gains in the gym. Brother. That's right, brother. Better mental clarity, improved sleep patterns, a faster metabolism. And you usually even notice an increased libido. Yeah, I said it. It's pretty all right. And you can actually book the same day that you call. That number, 440-3663. That's 440-3663. Or go to MontgomeryMen'sHealth.com to book your appointment today. Again, 272-9228 if you want to get in on the conversation. Let's go to Soldier Boy.
And you made a good comment, Joey. They are applauding all those billions of dollars of waste that was spent, okay? Well, like my mom used to tell me, it's always easy to spend other people's freaking money, people's money, Joey's money, Eddie's freaking money, but they can sit there and just applaud. It don't make no damn sense. My dad used to say the same thing. Oh, it's easy when it's somebody else's money to make that damn decision. And I noticed another thing. Number two, I see that the enlistment has gone up 25, 35% since Mr. Trump's been in office because they got a freaking leader that's not going to put them out there for slaughter. Like 13 of them died of Afghanistan. Those 13 would not have died. And they wouldn't have had to have their parents look at a boob looking at his damn clock and his watch every second. Yeah. What a pain.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's the first time in 10, 15 years that we had not met since he's been in office that we didn't meet our re-enlistment or enlistment.
Yeah, it's the best recruitment numbers in 15 years. It's pretty amazing. And, there's been all these think pieces and all these studies about why can't we recruit? It really just comes down to courageous leadership.
Well, you know what it was.
They don't mind dying, and we didn't have a problem dying if it was for a cause of this country. I'm not going to die for a bunch of Ukrainians.
Right.
Sorry, I'm not. If Ukraine was fighting us right now in the war, different. I'd go over there and slaughter a couple dozen, Not a problem.
And also, I think you're of the age, and I imagine very similar to, say, Pete Hegseth, and it's the veterans of Iraq and Afghanistan and all the other recent, say, actions, counterinsurgency actions, that have finally their concerns, their experiences given voice to at the top leadership. Where I think those folks who did the fighting, saw their friends die, they finally are like, thank you, you get it. You're actually hearing us. And that's going to help recruiting all day.
We got a Secretary of Defense that's finally got some dirt on his damn boots. I don't say that, but the rest of the Secretary of Defenses that have come before. I mean, I was so happy with Pete, and I like that Mr. Trump loyalty. Man, he's big on that. He must have a whole damn chapter in his book, he wrote, because man, he took a lot of heat with Pete, man, but he stood in there. Pete told him flat out, "Hey, sir, you know, I don't want you to look bad. I don't want you to take this." And when the president said, "No, Pete, you stay right where you are. We're going to back you up, and I'm going to push you against that freaking line, and I don't give a crap what these other people think." That's a leader. That's a president. And Pete stayed in there trying to make, man, you know how many drug officers I see freaking when I was in the airport at the O Club? Good God. Come on. So he had a couple drinks. Do you know what the number one drug is in the Air Force and the government? I mean, the military?
No.
It's not marijuana.
Alcohol.
It's not cocaine. It's alcohol.
Alcohol.
Damn right it is.
Yeah.
Alcohol. It's the number one drug. Okay? And they want to throw down on this. I mean, it's amazing. And I love what he said. A couple of my friends came over. We got the popcorn going. You had the beer flowing. You know what I'm talking about. Had a little mini keg going. There's some
nice
Miller Draft American beer. You know what I'm talking about. Not that foreign beer Budweiser. I want to talk about that. But we had the Miller little ball there. And the next thing you know, when Trump threw out the Pocahontas, man, that guy got homeowner's insurance because everybody fell off the damn couch and almost broke their back. I mean, what happened? I said, what happened? I've been gone 2 minutes. He said, and then I have it on DVR. He played it. He said, play this back. And then I'm like, man, he said, don't play it again, man. I don't think your homeowner insurance deductible can handle it anymore. Because he said, man, we are hurting over here. And you know what? And here's the thing about it is, do you remember when Nancy Pelosi had her when she was Speaker of the House, she's back there tearing his paper up and everything in his little book. Now, like a little brat, and just tearing up. And do you remember when those damn wayward women came in there with the flying nun outfits? What the hell was that?
Now, I don't get the matching outfit thing.
They're united.
These people, they won't grow up.
Yeah. Well, we'll see. What they need is, if they're ever going to survive, they need a new leader. And Hakeem ain't going to do it. And the other loudmouths ain't going to do it. Somebody's going to give them leadership.
You know, and you listen to Hakeem lately. He's kind of being a little bowing down, kneeling down to the president. Because I guess he figures out he ain't going to win.
Oh, no, he's saying, y'all behave yourselves. I think, but it's not going to be Hakeem. It's not going to be Schumer. I think it's going to be somebody who comes from the outside and actually gives new direction.
Yep.
I appreciate the call, Soldier Boy. I got to run, man.
All right, later.
See you, Soldier Boy.
272-9228. And there was a Democratic response. And actually, the clip I have, because my grandfather said, to be fair, Joe, we need to watch. I'm like, it's late, but we need to watch, like, the response. And he lasted until this moment.
Oh, okay.
And I said, thank you. Because, number one, I don't know if that's going to be the new leadership of the party.
I would love it to be.
What is her name? Alyssa Slotkin? She's a Democratic senator, newly elected from Michigan.
Yeah, she's got a church lady.
Could it be?
She does. I mean, look at that. Tilted face, the eyes, the lips.
But this is the moment where my grandfather was like, oh, turn this crap off. Because actually her lead-in was fine. It sounded a little more reasonable.
Yeah.
And she claims, well, I want to cut waste. And it's like, no, but just don't do it this way. Oh, okay. Right, okay. Well, here is Senator Slotkin.
While we're on the subject of Elon Musk.
Oh, no.
Is there anyone in America who is comfortable with him and his gang of 20-year-olds using their own computer servers to poke through your tax returns, your health information, and your bank accounts?
Yes, actually, we're fine with that.
Perfectly fine with that.
Very fine with that.
No oversight, no protections against cyber attack, no guardrails on what they do with your private data.
All that's made up.
Yeah.
We need a more efficient government. You want to cut waste? I'll help you do it.
No, you won't.
No, you will not. Got out one of those chins. Sorry.
I'm trying not to make it. You're right. You're right.
But change doesn't need to be chaotic. While we're on the subject of Elon.
But change doesn't need to be chaotic. No, change needs to be orderly and managed to where it isn't actually change. That's what they want.
That's exactly what they want.
And, you know, there was a moment I'm like, I know that voice. I know that yell.
Oh.
When Trump was kind of going to his final flourish, like talking about how we're in the golden age of America.
Yeah, oh yeah.
And so he's talking about all these great things. The language became a little more poetic and theatrical, which, I'm a sucker for. And, there's a particular person in the middle of this poetic theatrical flourish to end, big crescendo to end the speech, welcome in the golden age of America.
All right.
You hear somebody in the balcony go, yeah! And the whole crowd starts applauding. Let's just listen into that moment.
We are going to conquer the vast frontiers of science, and we're going to lead humanity into space and plant the American flag on the planet Mars and even far beyond.
Did you hear that? Yeah?
I did hear that.
It was clearly Elon Musk.
Yeah. I saw him grinning like a schoolboy.
It's like, do you want to trust him and his gang? Yes, I trust them more than you.
Right.
Why are you more trustworthy?
Because we've been stealing your money longer, Joey.
Because you won a popularity contest?
But I didn't get a say in that one, so.
My goodness. And this gang of 20-year-olds. I'm telling you what, a lot of these 20-year-olds have more talent in their pinky than a lot of y'all.
Well,
I don't know Senator Slotkin. I'm sure she worked for the CIA, so she must be very talented.
Well, you see how she got the job then.
Uh-huh.
But
like some of these kids are amazingly impressive.
Who do you think drives your subs, your destroyers?
Right. Who do you think does all the grunt work?
Right. Who do you think's driving tanks? Come on, guys. You won't say anything about putting young men in the military, putting their life on the line, but when they're doing something that affects your fiefdom, suddenly they're young and can't be trusted.
Seriously, that one kid, Big Balls?
Yeah.
What he did at the University of Nebraska, like the charred manuscripts and scrolls from Pompeii.
He was able to piece it together.
Yeah, like they're charred. It's like just a charred brick.
Yep.
That's a scroll, and he was able to, using AI, to essentially unwind it and read it.
He's the devil.
Stupid 20-year-olds. Mm-hmm. No, you just hate them because they're being effective. Though I saw today that they only found initially 80 million in waste at the Pentagon. That's nope. Y'all keep digging, Doge.
Yeah.
Y'all keep digging. This part of the program brought to you by River Region Contracting, and there at River Region Contracting, Todd Clark and the team are ready to help you.
They got a call from my wife today.
Oh, really?
Yes. In her business, they had someone call needing a roof. They need a roof. They literally said, hey, we're seeing daylight because of last night's storms.
Oh, my.
So my wife was able to give them the number. So these are the people you want to call. They said, well, we don't have a whole lot of money to pay for this inspection. She said the inspection's free. Absolutely free.
Always free.
There you go.
And you're going to get an estimate written up for free. Well, and they know there's a problem.
Oh, yeah, they know.
So they called 356-8635, and Todd and the team are getting out there.
Yep. Getting out there, I think, today.
I love it. I absolutely love it.
When you're seeing daylight from your living room.
And maybe with the storm that rolled through last night, you're not seeing daylight. You don't see any damage, but you heard some bumps in the middle of the night.
Yes.
Those winds in particular were unreal.
Man.
Absolutely unreal.
I know there was one lady on the lake. She has the old wind meter up 48 miles an hour. They had one rip across the lake. Yeah.
So if you heard some bumps in the middle of the night, you're a little worried. You can't see the damage yourself, but you're worried. Well, call up River Region Contracting for peace of mind. And again, those inspections are free, so it doesn't hurt. That number, 356-8635, that's 356-8635. And keep in mind, they're insurance specialists, so they can help you with the claims process there with that insurance company that might fight you.
They'll try.
And be sure to tell Todd and the team there at River Region Contracting that Joey and Eddie, those fellas on the radio, sent you.
He may not know whether he's coming or going, but whether you're going to work or coming home, Greg Budell is there. Mornings, 6 till 9, and afternoons, 3 till 6. Only on News Talk 93.1 FM, WACV.
Since 1966, Alabama Sheriff's Youth Ranches has been more than just a place to stay. It's been a place to belong. For children facing hardships through no fault of their own, our ranches provide more than shelter. We offer a warm home, a loving family, and a future filled with hope. With open arms, we welcome these young hearts, giving them the love, structure, and guidance they need to heal, grow, and thrive in a warm Christian environment. Together, we can give Alabama's children the chance they deserve, a chance to dream, to succeed, and to feel truly cherished. Every donation stays within Alabama, directly impacting the lives of the children who need it most. Join us in making a difference. Visit AlabamaSheriffsYouthRanches.org. Follow us on Facebook and Instagram, and download our app from your app store. We'd be honored to have you as a part of our mission to lift up Alabama's youth. And remember this, it's easier to build boys and girls than to repair men and women.
Hi there, I'm Kim Williams with Alabama Home Mortgage.
And I'm Madeline Cannon. It's true, rates aren't as low as they have been for the past couple of years, but there are still many homeowners that could benefit from refinancing their current mortgage. There are a lot of things in life that are out of our control, but your mortgage rate is not one of them. If you currently have an adjustable rate mortgage, then you owe it to yourself to give us a call.
Adjustable rate mortgages make sense for some people in stable markets, but in this wild, ever-changing rate environment, it only makes sense to secure a fixed interest rate. A fixed interest rate will give you the peace of mind that your rate is locked. Your rate will not be subject to change with the political and economic tides.
At Alabama Home Mortgage, you can personalize your term. We offer 8-year to 30-year mortgages and everything in between. Grab your mortgage statement and give us a call.
Call Alabama Home Mortgage, the #1 mortgage lender in Alabama, today at 567-4223, or visit us online at myalabamahomemortgage.com. That's Alabama Home Mortgage, because, folks, there is a difference in mortgage companies. NMLS 1586-36-8, Equal Housing Lender.
For too long, Alabama's statewide news companies have shamed us for our conservative Christian values. Alabama deserves a news company that cherishes our culture, a company that isn't bought and paid for by the powers that be. 1819 News is that company. Run by Alabamians for Alabamians, 1819 News celebrates what is good and beautiful about our state, while exposing those who work against our values in secret. Just go to 1819news.com to learn more. Subscribe to our newsletter. That's 1819news.com.
This is your roving reporter, and today I am talking with an elk. Hey man, Mr. Elk, I was just wondering, what do elk do to take care of their money? Well, like most smart folks, we call David Erdit. You mean Alabama's most favorite asset preservationist? That's him, man. We call him up at 334-279-7431 or 205-479-0839. I see. Yes, he is our preferred money man. The money man with the money plan. You've been paying attention. Well, could you give us those numbers one more time? 334-279-7431 or 205-479-0839. And I just want to try to give you a heads up, man. Oh, what's that? I'm not an elk. Not an elk, huh? Well, then, pray tell, what are you? Knights of Columbus. I am not even going to make a comment. Well, the baby liked it.
Hi, this is Carl Schmidt, naturopath and owner of the Herb Shop. Listen every Saturday to Winning Wellness and learn from experts in different fields of science and technology how nutritional supplements can help you.
Listen to Winning Wellness every Saturday at 10 a.m.
The Rich Thomas Weather Network, brought to you by Montgomery Paint and Body. From little fender benders to total body repair, MPB will fix it good as new, maybe better. For 4 decades, the Turner family has been getting you back on the road. Call 279-7325.
The big storm system crossing the country is still keeping us windy today. Wind advisory remains in effect for wind gusts as high as 35 miles per hour for much of this day. It'll be mostly sunny, much cooler, with a high temperature only in the lower 60s. Partly cloudy, chilly tonight, overnight low temperature down to about 38. Tomorrow unseasonably cool with a high temperature only in the 50s. I've got us around 58 for the high. More sunshine Thursday and Friday. Friday's high in the lower 70s. We'll be in the mid-70s on Saturday with a chance of showers by afternoon. Showers and storms become likely on Saturday night. From the Blue Water Weather Center, this is Rich Thomas.
Budget Floors and More is your low-price leader for everything you need for flooring and DIY flooring installation supplies. For the best prices on luxury vinyl plank, carpet, ceramic tile, flooring installation supplies, and more, shop Budget Floors and More, Hunter Lane across from Delray to Publix.
When news happens, you'll hear about it first. The River Region's most trusted voice. News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
Joey Clark.
I'm playing Eddie's favorite song I've done.
Rocking the bells, baby.
You just like the bells.
I do. Music can take you back, Joey.
Welcome back to the program. And by the way, it does look like the Panama Canal is going to be slowly but surely taken over by the United States, as we mentioned yesterday, BlackRock buying it.
Mm-hmm.
And Trump last night even said that. I asked Larry and BlackRock to buy the Panama Canal's ports, because that's the first big step. You need an American company actually operating the canal, not a Chinese company.
Well, another problem, and I'm sure they're taking care of it now, is a lot of the land right around the canal has already been bought up by some Chinese. So,
well, we'll see.
I think that's what kind of drew us back into it.
Oh, and by the way, there's a lot of Chinese spokesmen out there talking tough, saying you want to start a trade war or any sort of war, we're ready. We're not going to, you don't bully us, and fentanyl's not our fault, it's your fault.
Well, you expect no less.
Mm-hmm. And the Canadians are, one of them's like, we're going to shut off power to a bunch of people.
Yeah, but then there's a group of them, I forget where from, but they are getting a delegation together to come visit Donald Trump to talk about, I want to say it's Quebec, becoming the 51st state.
No, it would be Alberta.
Is it Alberta?
Probably would be Alberta.
I saw it this.
That's
yes,
the one
it
that
was.
makes the most sense.
Yes, it was. But it was hysterical because it went from a joke to a lot of Canadians really ticked off about it to there's a group that says, you know what?
Well, now, for folks who don't know, and I just got this from Jordan Peterson, that most of the other provinces in Canada are very liberal. This is why you have these very liberal governments up there in Canada. And the French area, the Quebec, they're always threatening to sort of secede and become their own nation and whatnot.
Sense.
But at this point, Alberta is more your frontier people. Like, it's your oil and gas folks. It is the more conservative part, working class part of Canada.
Yeah.
And so if they feel like the other more liberal areas are sort of leeching off them, just are taking them for granted.
They are.
Why not become the 51st state?
That's exactly what they're doing.
We'll see. I mean, that seems outlandish, but at this point, it's like, just go along for the ride.
To me, it's still hysterical that the Canadians, people, and not all of them, but so many of them are taking it seriously and like truly offended. You're not going to be your 51st state. No offense, but I wasn't really asking. It's kind of a joke.
You know how much I love, because it's just a childhood memory that no politics will ruin it for me, is like Austin Powers. And so I've always will love Mike Myers. I love, So I Married an Axe Murderer. I love Wayne's World. I just think Mike Myers is hysterically funny, and I loved him on all sorts of skits. But the recent thing on SNL where he's wearing "Canada's not for sale" and all this stuff, I'm like, they really are taking it personally.
They do, and it's hysterical. But what else can they do?
Well, we'll see.
I mean, honestly, if we really wanted it.
Well, it came out this morning that Trump is considering a 1-month delay on auto tariffs for Canada and Mexico. And I like this. It's like 1 month to what? What can we do to please you? He's like, no, I'm just giving you an extra month to get your affairs in order and come make cars here in the U.S.
Yep.
I think we're on to something here. Now, the tariffs will be potentially the big sticking point. Potentially. As Trump said last night, there's probably going to be an adjustment period.
I'm sure there will be.
But if not only you have the tariffs bringing in revenue, you also get rid of a lot of the regulations and you cut a lot of government spending, which will maybe even show up in a negative GDP number in the short term. In the long run, that is essentially reprivatizing the economy along with all this manufacturing investment, which is astounding how much it is, and it's growing by the day. Then you have a huge boom after that sharp, quick decline of cutting. You're telling folks working in the federal government, thank you for your service. There are hundreds of thousands of jobs in the private sector. There are millions of jobs available in the private sector. Y'all are skilled enough people to have this job. You can go do something elsewhere.
I got a feeling they'll be in the federal government, though, when that does turn around, they will be doing some massive hiring again. Because you said, you're cutting back to the bone.
Yes.
And then they're going to hire as needed.
Well, this is the whole Elon Musk philosophy. If you're not adding things back in, you're not deleting enough.
But it also gives you an opportunity to get rid of some dead weight. And when I mean dead weight, say Joey's got this job. He's been in it 18 years. He's the worst employee we have in this particular department. But there's nothing we can do about it. Until Joey retires, there's nothing we can do about it. Now you can kind of hit the reset button. We can invite everybody back but Joey.
By the way, I pride myself. I've been this way since I was this way in high school, but especially when I got into college. Like, I like showing up to class. I don't have pen and paper. I don't have a backpack. I don't have anything on me. I'm just here to listen. Like, don't give me forms to fill out. Don't give me busy work. Don't give me charts. Don't have me carrying around a bunch of stuff.
Yeah.
I just want to show up and be me. All right?
Yeah.
Like, have you ever seen me? Like, I at most have to do this checklist here, and I'm annoyed with that. And I get it. It's we make sure we do everything. But I like not having to, like, do a bunch of busy work and bureaucratic forms, if that makes any sense.
It makes sense, but you have the luxury of being able to do that.
Why do you think I chose this job?
Right. Just so we're clear.
Yeah.
It's not like I don't ever do that. It's just right now the luxury allows you to not have to worry about that. Right. Always keep that in mind.
The luxury.
Yeah.
Well, a lot of paperwork in real estate.
Oof, good Lord. See, I got a partner.
Yeah, exactly. 272-9228. That's 334-272-9228. We got to hit this break. Austin Branco from Invista Advisors should be joining us soon.
Carry News Talk in your pocket? Download the News Talk 93.1 app from the App Store. Available on iPhone and Android. Never miss a moment. Download now.
Hey there, this is Hannah Grantham with Forest Meadows Homes and Land. And since my partner Eddie Bader and I started advertising with Blue Water Broadcasting, we've seen the results from it daily. Blue Water Broadcasting has become a second family, and I recommend them to anyone looking to advertise their business.
Did you know that radio is the #1 reach platform in all of media? It's true. Call us to find out how to put radio's #1 reach to work for your business. Blue Water Broadcasting. Local folks helping local business.
The Tierce family has been your local Roto-Rooter service since 1964. Drain cleaning, plumbing repair, and those troublesome septic tanks, no problem. Technology has changed a bit in the last 54 years. Video inspections of lines to locate problems is available, as well as scheduling your appointment online. River Region residents have trusted Roto-Rooter for over half a century. You can too. Call today at 272-7130 or visit online at rotorooteralabama.com.
Call Roto-Rooter, that's the name. And leave no troubles down the drain. Roto-Rooter.
The premier place the River Region turns to for news, weather, traffic, and opinion. News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
Joey Clark.
Welcome back to Joey and Eddie's show.
Good show.
Yeah, it's a show. And I think after that speech, that was a shot in the arm to all the folks liking what Trump's doing, Doge is doing. But I have been saying, and even Trump last night saying, there might be some adjustment with these tariffs.
It's going to be.
Right. Well, but joining us now, we have Austin Branco with Invista Advisors. Austin, how you doing this afternoon?
Hey, Joey, having a great day, and I was going to say sorry I missed Monday, but it was for a good occasion. My daughter was born, and so we were in the hospital on Monday, and that's why I missed the call.
Congratulations, man. That's beautiful.
Yeah, thanks, man. We're really excited over here and not getting much sleep, but it's all for a great cause.
Right.
Well, I love that. That's the best reason to miss this stupid show I've ever heard.
Man.
But I was sad. It's good catching up with you guys, and I've been listening a little bit. And yeah, the speech last night was crazy, and the market's reaction has been extremely volatile today. And so, don't know how much you guys are staying in tune with that, but it's been a really intense last 2 weeks in the market, and some of the things that Brant and I have talked about for what seems like way too long are starting to fall into place. So now is the right time to be positioned with some cash or cash alternatives, because I do think it's going to get maybe even a little bit uglier before it gets better.
Yeah, and I've been, the tariffs are one thing, but I've been kind of following the model it's a microcosm of what Javier Milei has done in Argentina, and he's done it in an even more draconian fashion of slashing government spending there. It put them into a technical recession, I guess, with the GDP numbers, and now some of the projections are like 8.5% growth for Argentina. And I almost think that might play out here. if all this investment does come into the country and we essentially re-privatize the economy?
Yeah, I think privatization is definitely important in the long run. For the short run, in an inefficient market, governments controlling the market can be a good thing. But in the long run, that's proven time and time again to fail. And so having a free market that's properly regulated, not overly regulated, is the best path to success. And so, Argentina's economic model is a little bit different than ours, but the themes that you just laid out are absolutely spot on. And that's what I think, Trump is trying to do. He was dealt a very tough hand, like we've talked about, but like we've been saying, he's going to have to take it on the chin in the early part of his second term so that he can have enough time to turn it around and get the rebound that we need before ideally the midterms, but even, more importantly, before his 4 years is up. And so I think he's doing what's necessary. It's uncomfortable, but no other politician really wanted to stick their neck out and take it on the chin, but he doesn't care. He knows that, hey, I got 4 years, I can do what I want, and I've got Congress for another 2, so let's go ahead and make things happen while we can, and it absolutely needed to happen. So we'll see where we go from here, but like I said, expect a little bit more pain in the short term, but it will be, in my opinion, for a better long-term outcome.
Well, and folks, if you're looking for this sort of knowledge and expertise with Austin here, as well as that multidiscipline experience team, and it really is a team approach there at Invista Advisors, and essentially they can help you plan your long-term financial future and really help you with planning. And it's not just, say, the investment side of things, though it's a very important part. It's about uniquely understanding your situation and how to preserve your wealth going forward. And number's still 387-0094 if people want to start the conversation.
Yep, that's us, and we'd love to hear from you.
Again, folks, it's 387-0094. And be sure to say, hey, I heard Austin on the radio with Joey Clark.
Awesome. Well, thanks, Joey and Eddie. You guys have a great day.
And congratulations again, man.
Yes,
Beautiful.
Sir. Thanks, guys.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome to hear. Because he was only a few years behind me at Catholic.
Oh, all right.
And it's just great to see a family, man, doing well.
It's great to see more U.S. citizens being born every day, Joey.
Indeed it is.
It is. It really is.
Let's go to Thunder. Thunder?
It is great to have new little ones into this country. Congratulations to them. Let's go back to last night's speeches, though. Did anyone look at the faces of those Democrats as Donald Trump was reading out that list of USAID waste?
Mm-hmm.
They didn't look just mad. They looked guilty.
Oh, yeah.
Wonder how many of their hands have been all in that money, and now that they know that he knows, how many of them are wondering, I'm fixing to catch it? I mean, it was better than a puppy dog that just piddled the floor. He knows he's fixing to get a spanking. And I think they know that they're fixing to get a spanking.
Yep.
But I want to go back to Elise Watkins. If you close your eyes so you don't have to look at her, man, they've got some unappealing women in the Democratic Party. But if you close your eyes and you just listen to her, whose words do you hear?
Beelzebub?
No. Barack Obama's words.
Oh, interesting.
That was the Barack Obama speech. His words may have been changed to make it look a little less obvious, but that was the Barack Obama speech. It was exactly what he said to try and get delusional Democrats or unintelligent Democrats on board with what he wanted to destroy this country to be like. Exactly like it. All you had to do was close your eyes, and you could hear Barack Obama speaking through her voice.
Well, I just got to say, if Barack Obama is the puppet master controlling all these puppets in the Democratic Party and has been ever since he left the presidency, he's not doing a great job of it.
No, not right now.
No, he's not. Well, he wasn't doing a very good job of it when he was in office. And he's doing just as bad a job of it now. It's simply that more and more people have finally opened their eyes and listened to what he has to say and watched what he's doing and watched how he's destroying this country and watched what kind of wealth he has amassed since he was, quote, a $1 million president to a almost $1 billion president. You don't get that kind of money by writing one or two books. You don't get that kind of money by being a, quote, retired civil servant. You get that kind of money out of stealing from your government. And the best way you can steal from your government is to hide it in plain sight, which is what they've done with all of these contracts and grants.
Yeah.
When you have a grant that has absolutely no visibility over who really gets the money and how it's really spent, no accountability, you can steal as much as you want to.
Oh yeah,
and obviously the Democrats have taken advantage of that.
Oh yeah, it's a whole industry. I got to hit the top of the hour break. Appreciate it, Thunder.
Thank you, Thunder.
Sorry, we were a little distracted because we were watching a grown man in a suit do a bunch of push-ups on camera.
I wasn't that distracted.
No, I thought it was just humorous. It's like, what are you doing?
I thought it was killing me at first. I was like, holy crap. Then I was distracted, but I thought it was much younger individual.
No, I wouldn't. Yeah. I would never point out kill me, even if he was doing something really impressive.
Really?
Yeah. And by the way, I've been watching little clips here and there. They announced the White House. It was a Fox News. Fox News alert.
Yeah.
The White House has paused funding and weapons to Ukraine. And it was a split screen when they announced that. And you see Brian Kilmeade just go,
Oh, Lord.
And it's like, yeah, cry harder, Bri. Anyway. Second hour coming up.
Broadcasting from the Riverside Chevrolet Master Control Center, this is WACV Cusana, News Talk 93.1 FM. When it's Chevy, it's Riverside.
With SRN News, I'm John Scott. In Brussels, European Union leaders plan to hold emergency talks to agree on ways to quickly increase their military budgets after the Trump administration signaled Europe must take care of its own security and also suspended assistance to Ukraine. Vice President J.D. Vance plans to visit the U.S.-Mexico border to highlight the tougher immigration policies the Trump administration says have led to fewer arrests for illegal crossings. Vance will be joined in Eagle Pass, Texas, by Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth and Director of National Intelligence Tulsi Gabbard. Arrests for illegal border crossings from Mexico plummeting 39% in January from a month earlier. On Wall Street, the Dow had 210 points, the Nasdaq adding 107. This is SRN News.
Hi, it's Mike Gallagher. I've been thinking, why does it feel like losing weight is harder than ever before? With mixed messages, fad diets, the quick fix injections, even magic coffee. I mean, it's overwhelming. Most people are exhausted trying to fight a battle they cannot win. If you feel this way, trust me, you're not alone. I used to feel that way too. But let me tell you, it's not your fault. Your body is working against you, and the longer you wait, the harder it gets. Do what I did. I called PhD Weight Loss and Nutrition 3 years ago. I lost 53 pounds. I feel terrific, and I've kept the weight off. Make the phone call that can change your life the way it has changed mine. They won't let you fail. Call 855-696-2020. That's 855-696-2020 to schedule your consultation. The first 11 callers who mention the word healthy will get 2 free weeks added to their weight loss package. Call now, 855-696-2020. Mention the keyword healthy to get 2 free weeks. Or visit them at myphdweightloss.com, myphdweightloss.com.
Rich Thomas weather, a service of Wiley Sanders Truck Lines, where over-the-road dump truck drivers are needed right now. Home twice a week and every weekend, must leave early on Sunday with Blue Cross Blue Shield. Call them now at 855-777-9785.
The big storm system crossing the country is still keeping us windy today. Wind advisory remains in effect for wind gusts as high as 35 miles per hour for much of this day. It'll be mostly sunny, much cooler, with a high temperature only in the lower 60s. Partly cloudy, chilly tonight, overnight low temperature down to about 38. Tomorrow unseasonably cool with a high temperature only in the 50s. I've got us around 58 for the high. More sunshine Thursday and Friday. Friday's high in the lower 70s. We'll be in the mid-70s on Saturday with a chance of showers by afternoon. Showers and storms become likely on Saturday night. From the Blue Water Weather Center, this is Rich Thomas.
We're redesigning financial freedom at CB&S Bank. Make purchases at participating stores and restaurants using your CB&S Bank debit card through your mobile devices with Mobile Wallet. Charges and fees may apply for your cellular service provider. Contact your service provider for more information. Member FDIC.
From the Blue Water Broadcasting News Center, these are today's top stories. The driver involved in a February hit-and-run accident in Prattville has been arrested. 26-year-old Keontae Kindred fled the original scene and led police on a high-speed chase that eventually ended when he collided with a commercial truck on Highway 231 in Montgomery. Kindred was discharged from the hospital on Tuesday and immediately taken into custody. The Trump administration is considering selling 6 federally owned properties in Alabama. According to the General Service Administration, selling ensures taxpayer dollars are no longer being spent on vacant or underutilized federal spaces. The Alabama buildings possibly being sold include the Montgomery bus station. Montgomery police officers now have a better opportunity to become homeowners. District 7 City Councilman Andrew Zamansky's new initiative, the Community Homebuyer Loan, is tailored specifically for members of Montgomery law enforcement, allowing police officers up to 100% financing without the need for mortgage insurance. From the Blue Water Broadcasting News Center, I'm Sky Mosley.
This hour of news and views is brought to you by our good friends at Alabama Home Mortgage. Alabama Home Mortgage, 567-4223. Visit them on the web at myalabamahomemortgage.com. NMLS number 1586368. An equal housing lender.
We all want access to care and coverage we need to stay healthy, but Farm Bureau health plans aren't the answer. They are unregulated and unreliable when it comes to covering you and your family. If you have cancer or another pre-existing condition, well, you'd be out of luck. Alabama deserves better than empty promises. Call your state legislator now and tell them to vote no on Farm Bureau health plans. Visit fightcancer.org/Alabama. It's time for real health insurance.
Paid for by the American Cancer Society Cancer Action Network.
Before you buy new floors at a discount store and get them installed by the cousin of a friend who does this kind of thing, consider the better option. Prattville Carpet carries the most reputable brands for selection, style, and quality you can trust. And with their non-transferable lifetime installation warranty, you'll never have to worry about hardwood warping or carpet buckling. Your floors will stay as beautiful as the day they installed them.
Hi, I'm Ray Bowles from Prattville Carpet. If you're looking for carpet, hardwood, laminate, vinyl plank, or ceramic tile, call us today for your free measurement. Prattville Carpet, we're more than just carpet.
The views and opinions of the following program are solely those of the host and other contributors. These do not necessarily represent those of Liberty Acquisitions 825, Blue Water Broadcasting, its management, staff, or any advertisers. It's time for Montgomery's conversational radio show. It's news and views on News Talk 93.1 FM. To join the conversation, call 272-9228.
Joey Clark.
Welcome back to News and Views in the afternoon, or as we call the show online, Joey Clark Live. If you're just tuning in online, this is a local talk show at Montgomery, Alabama, of all places. But we talk about all things. Did they raise the gas tax here in this city?
Yes, they did, Joey. There'll be a new headline coming up, I would guess, 6 weeks from now. It says, gas sales down 20% in Montgomery. And Wetumpka areas and
because are there gas stations outside of the Montgomery city limits?
Kind of like fireworks. You know how you can't get fireworks in the city limit, but you go 6 inches outside the city limit, there's fireworks. Yeah. It's a scam.
Wow.
If I was a gas station owner, I'd be ticked because he just dented my revenue.
Coming up, starting this month, and I guess next week, we're going to have a regular day with the mayor.
Okay.
It'll be, I think, the second Wednesday of every month for the next few months. And we'll have a regular day the third Wednesday with Andrew Szymanski. So we'll get to talk to him about it.
Okay.
Like, I'm just wondering, like, what are you going to do with all this money? I'm sure you got a lot of great ideas, but come on, man.
Well, we're going to start by giving every single mother in town a livable wage. That way we can encourage women to go have more children out of wedlock. It kills me because look at the blue cities across the U.S. Find me one that's doing something great.
Right.
But we are falling into that trap here. I mean, you're seeing evidence throughout what's happening to every other blue city. We are going down that same damn road and nobody's doing nothing.
Well, if you don't have the votes, seriously.
Oh, I agree.
Gotta have the votes.
So just look at Birmingham, folks. That's what somebody in this city wants us to be. Then look at Huntsville. Huntsville should be what we want to be. If we're going to pick any other city in Alabama to kind of look after, Huntsville would be the one.
Yeah.
But now let's pick Birmingham. Lower your expectations.
Or they might be like, we're looking at Greenville and Chattanooga. We'll see. But, you know, folks asked me the other day, I think it was Cooper, said, who's this Jeffrey Tucker guy that I keep reading, like, his stuff? Well, he has a new op-ed out today at the Epic or Epoch Times, however you want to call it.
I never know what to say there.
And I'll just read it straight up. This is Jeffrey Tucker. His op-ed is called Harder Than We Thought. And I'm seeing a photo of Elon Musk in his dark gothic MAGA hat and his, like, new age sunglasses and whatnot. But here's what Jeffrey Tucker writes. He writes, did you see Elon Musk's latest interview with Joe Rogan? Yeah, I saw it. It covered some details concerning what Doge has discovered in the course of their work over the last month and 10 days. It's not pretty. He explained more about the early problems they had discovered at the U.S. Treasury. The outgoing payment systems had not been monitored, audited, or even looked at by an elected official or outside appointee since 1945, or possibly earlier. There were nearly $5 trillion in payments flying out without any tag linking to congressional authorization or source of authority. Musk said that Doge has changed this so that the systems now have to comply with normal accounting standards that prevail in the business world. He estimates that this one change, will save $100 billion. He further explains that such a shabby system builds in a strange bias always to keep paying no matter what. That's easier than having to deal with individuals, nonprofits, or companies and their protest against getting cut off. Yeah, I believe what Musk said on Rogan is, if you were running a big payment system in the way he just discovered Treasury was running it, and say you're a CFO of
they'd shut you down.
Publicly traded company, and not just shut you down, you would be in prison.
Yeah. Go straight to jail.
In other words, if you have a system through which unlimited amounts of money flow and no one is really incentivized to care that it is being used well, no professionals in place tasked with the job of stopping leakage, it can continue forever until bankruptcy.
Yep.
And it would have to, but for the Trump administration's demand for a change. For the first time since the Second World War, the U.S. Department of Treasury now has a fiscal assistant secretary who was not chosen from within the ranks of the bureaucracy. There have only been 15 people in this position over 85 years, and they all came from within the system. It's going to take a long time for all of this to flesh itself out to become an accountable system. It does not help that federal judges are busy issuing panicked injunctions against Doge, thwarting their access to many departments. Those interventions are, of course, now being litigated. Musk said that taking on the waste, fraud, and abuse in the federal government is a challenge beyond anything he has ever confronted. He is learning quickly, but he also seemed rather frustrated and exhausted. Not yet beaten, but mostly just overwhelmed. It's truly hard to imagine the scale of what he has taken on here. As Trump said last night, he didn't need this. He didn't need this at all. We might as well get used to it. This is not going to be solved anytime soon. In the scheme of things, it appears that perhaps Doge has dug into a tiny percentage of the problems and is only in a position to make recommendations consistent with executive orders. This whole plan, mapped out over years before inauguration, is brilliant beyond belief, especially when you consider the thick and nearly impenetrable walls that have separated elected leaders from the actual functioning of our government. What they have achieved is without precedent in the post-war period, but the fallout from the changes will take a very long time to reveal itself. When you consider the clouds of secrecy surrounding government finance, money going out and money coming in, it just makes the mind race with fear and dread about what might be going on behind the scenes. Given that trust in government is at an all-time low, it is highly likely that a substantial number of people are of the intuitive position that the whole thing is really a racket. Guilty. I'm guilty of that.
Scam, huh, Joey?
Musk further presented a revealing explanation of the rise of NGOs, or non-government organizations, which is the international name for what is in the United States is called nonprofits. He explained that many are funded by government, which does not quite make sense. You cannot have a government-funded non-government organization, but that is precisely the point. Elon explained that NGOs emerged as a means by which government can achieve objectives that otherwise would be circumscribed by law, such as a censorship or election interference. Looked at from this point of view, it is remarkable that this has gone on as long as it has. Another issue concerns personnel. Last week, writes Jeffrey Tucker, the Office of Personnel Management, put out an email asking all federal workers to describe in 5 points what they did last week. 1 million people complied, but another 1 million plus did not bother, or possibly did not check the email at all. After a few days, we gained more insight into why they were doing this. They wanted to discover precisely how many people on the federal payroll are actually working for the government. Doge had developed an intuition that vast numbers of these people either do not exist or just pretend to work. Now another email has gone out to cross-check the second responses with the first responses. It's a good guess that only half will reply, the same half as before. At this point, the administration will have a sense of how to begin cutting the payroll. Maybe it will be 10%, or maybe it will be 50%. We just have to see. It's this way with many of the revelations that are being presented to us now. We find them shocking and wonder how the public could have tolerated this level of waste, fraud, and abuse for so long. Well, I think it's because the public was kept in the dark.
Yeah.
Many of these revelations are not new, but consider that in the past, there was very little anyone could do about it. The politicians and the voters had long ago given up hope of changing the system. That is the real difference between then and now. It appears that we have some hope of actually seeing the system change. This hope had been pent up for decades, and only unleashed now given the counter-revolutionary times in which we live. The grand demand is that the government live by the same standards as the rest of us. That's not too much to ask, but most people long ago gave up asking. The curtain is being pulled back on many features of statecraft today. The exchange between Vladimir Zelensky, Trump, and J.D. Vance has garnered much commentary on the details. The big picture, however, is what makes the salient point. Statecraft and diplomacy have existed under an obfuscating fog of mystery and secrecy for more than a century. This has been a deliberate strategy to lead the hoi polloi, you little people, to believe that magical and unapproachable powers were at work. Things you could not possibly comprehend. That ended in the Oval Office as we saw a very human drama play out in front of all the reporters, complete with raw emotion, ego, entitlement, anger, and a range of other motivations that are entirely normal to the conduct of regular life. It's all been demystified, and so suddenly. This was the most significant feature of the scene. And this gets to a larger point about transparency in the government. Whether it is the budget, the accounting system, the payroll system, the NGOs, the agencies, or the machinations of international political wrangling, the issue at this point is not really our different ideological or philosophical positions. Until we can see the books and hear the conversations, we cannot really begin to talk about the details of what kind of government we should have. Until we are certain that we really do live in democratic forms in which the people are ultimately in charge, our differences do not matter nearly as much as simply discovering what is going on behind the scenes. So far, this is the biggest contribution of the Trump administration. Simply to open up reveal, disclose, and bring accountability to what has been shrouded in mystery for the whole of our lives. There is a very long way to go, and the process of getting from here to there is not going to be easy. Many people have a strong interest in keeping the affairs of state behind a protected veil. We've at least made some progress toward the goal. How much? It's hard to say. It's probably less than 50%, but more than, say, 0.5%. We won't really know for sure how far we have to go until we can comprehend the whole of it. That's the job right now, just cleaning up the house and making it presentable for show. Trump has only 4 years to achieve it. If it works, it will be an achievement for the ages. Again, that is Jeffrey Tucker, old friend of mine's op-ed at the Epic or Epoch Times. He's a regular there, and I'll try to get him on the show, and as well as a few others that are just always been very insightful to the political happenings in this world. You know, there are a lot of smart folks that came out of that libertarian movement world.
Yeah.
And even though they don't like explicitly say I'm a libertarian anymore, they've sort of gone past arguing autistically about all this stuff. It's more, no, we're in a moment that seems bigger than our ideology, bigger than, as he just said, all our little differences on policy. We're at a point of, do we have basic trust? Do we have basic transparency? To where these conversations that we have in public are more than theater? It would be nice to know.
Yeah.
And that is, in my mind, the most refreshing thing about this time we live in. And it's not just the Trump administration. I think it's also a product of the new technology that's out there. You know, having done this for over a decade now, just the way people speak to one another, the way people consume ideas, it's changed in an astounding fashion. And I think in a way, it is opening up and tearing down the pretenses that once created that cloudy fog around how power actually works. You know, I listened on audiobook as I was working out. Re-listened to it. It had been years since I had read or listened to it. Is Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. Mm-hmm. Very, very funny book if you like ironic, dry British humor. Very, very funny book. And you find in that book, well, you find a lot of things. But you find in that book this idea that it's not necessarily the bureaucracy and the rules that are the good guys. That you can kind of, don't panic and go for the ride. Again, there's joke after joke after joke in that book. But at the end of the day, you look under the hood, it's kind of a work on philosophy. And if you're not able to trust one another, if you are in an age where everything's being upended, the best advice is don't panic and keep trudging on. There's going to be losses and victories, but you sort of take the good with the bad. You sort of tear back the mask and see things beyond the little world that you live in, that you were trained to live in. It might not be comfortable. Certainly not at all. And then the biggest insight from that book, and I think it's the more enduring philosophical point of it, is not the answers that we give. Mm-hmm. It's like, are we asking the right questions? I think of all people, it was Gertrude Stein. On her deathbed, it's reported that she asked, what's the answer? And nobody had anything to say. She goes, well, what's the question then? And I think we live in an age where you're going to hear a lot of folks say, I have the answer to this, answer that. No, I think it's more proper in this age to ask the right questions. And as we tear back through this stuff and we don't panic, I think we might start to at least grope towards, okay, here's some new questions that don't keep us stuck in the 20th century and don't pull us down to where we will have our best days ahead of us. I truly believe it. We'll see. We'll certainly see. This is part of the program brought to you by Pest Pro Services.
Oh, did you see Ashley's new video?
I did not. Is it on Facebook?
Okay. It's on Facebook.
Yeah.
So we were talking about it's termite Awareness Week.
Okay.
So every day she's putting out some new termite information. So yesterday afternoon, she put out a great video on termites and just some of the things that you should kind of be aware of around your house.
Okay.
One of the greatest things she says, and it's true, and people forget about it, myself included, and all winter long, you bring firewood close to your house so you can just step outside the door and get it. Well, you don't want to do that for several reasons, but if you have, you need to go ahead and remove it now.
It needs to be 20 feet away.
At least, because your termites, the closer they are to the house, the faster they're going to get to your house. And they will go from that firewood right to your house.
I'm looking at the other one, watch for leaks.
Yes.
Also, mud, tubes, wings around your home. Needs to be properly inspected, and they'll do a free evaluation.
That's right, they will.
I love that.
Me
Folks,
too.
this is why you got to check them out on the Book of Faces. Just type in Pest Pro Services like I did. And with the termite season upon us, it's best to be prepared.
Yep.
And to get on top of the problem. And when you have truly skilled professionals who are not only great at what they do, but they're also great local folks, always giving back, well, that's Pest Pro Services. So again, you can always search Pest Pro Services on the Book of Faces or go to ppsriverregion.com to learn more. Or just call them direct at 265-9990. That's 265-9990. When you want to know, call a pro.
That's right.
Pest Pro Services. And be sure to tell Ashley and that great team there that Joey and Eddie, those fellas on the radio, sent you. 272-9228 again is the number. Wonder who this is going to be. You're on there. Who's this?
Hey, this is Sam calling from Pike County.
Happy birthday!
Hey!
You got like a naked
Thank
lady
you, Joe.
jumping out of a cake or something later?
Look, I'm having a great birthday. No naked lady yet, but family literally just returned out here to the farm, and we've got I've got white birthday cake and ice cream. And yeah.
I like that.
I heard y'all, and I was like, I'm gonna take a moment and call in and say hey to my bud. Hey, bud.
Hey, bud.
Yeah,
Hey, bud.
that's right. All right. A couple things, but first, Hitchhikers. Then you can't go wrong rereading Hitchhikers.
It's
And,
funny. It's one of those books
yeah.
that makes me laugh out loud. It's a very
That's
funny
it, man. Absolutely. From Don't Panic. Hey, Joey, what's the second? First off, don't panic. Second thing, you always carry a towel.
Always keep your
A
towel.
That's it, man. I've got me a big beach towel in the truck right now. It save your life. That's right. And plus, oh man, no, I'm 60 today, folks, and I'll go into all that later. But I'm glad to be here.
I'm glad you're here too,
Kinison
Sammy.
Yeah, Sam Kinison said I wouldn't if I kept living like this. That's a goofy joke. Listen. One of my favorite things from Hitchhikers, though, I just wanted to share this, is the SEP. You know, I've worked in a few offices. Yeah, the SEP. That's called someone else's problem.
Yeah.
It's the poor man's invisibility. There was just so many jokes like that. People will ignore a problem, and it becomes invisible.
Yep.
And so anyway, enough of that. For my birthday. So I got Trump last night. I got the State of the Union speech. You know, I ate it up, and it was, like I said, I was mentioning earlier, made a joke about I want one of those little signs, one of the little placards.
Yeah.
Oh, that one. Yeah, one says that. And I was thinking, how'd they get them in there? Because supposedly you're not supposed to be able to get things, signs and whatnot in the chamber when it's a session like that. But I figured they told they were church fans. I thought that was funny. But here we go. Let's go deeper with that. They're church fans from the Church of Satan.
Whoa.
Oh, just like their heart.
Sammy.
It's so anyway. That's fun. See, I feel better already.
Good deal.
Anyways, other than that though, but the real reason I called is that my other birthday gift was that Meghan Markle, the Duchess.
Yeah.
Her new show broke yesterday.
Oh, God.
I saw your message on that, and it made me sad.
Well, wait a minute now. I sent you a pretty good picture. Got a little bit of that Duchess skin.
Yeah, I know she's good looking, but talk about the Church of Satan.
That's the Democratic Party. Let's get away from that.
Everybody has.
But anyways, but Megan, I paid for it. Excuse me. I'm a Netflix user.
There you go.
And so, I'm taking a break right now. Hold on. Anyways, I paid for it. I watched the first episode, and
was it worth it?
It was exact. It's short.
Sounds like it's worth it already.
And okay, it's very nice. It's very clean. It's very well produced. It is her all the way. What she wants you to see.
Is that the chef show?
Yeah, she.
That's the one she
and
supposedly stole frame by frame from somebody. From
ain't no
another show?
supposes, but it is. I've watched some of that. You know, I'm still. I have to be laid up a lot, so I'm watching the YouTube videos and yeah, frame for frame. Her Pamela Anderson. She got a bunch. She lifted a bunch from that, and no, it's Megan. Everywhere she goes, she's looking and she's watching, and like I said, she's always talking her brand, and I finally figured out what that meant. She's wanting to sell aprons and jam and stuff, and her image. But her image, anyway, I've gone too far with it. Her image is suffering. Her show.
Oh yeah, you got me thinking of things.
Yeah.
Yeah, but here's the deal, though. As bad as her show is, you know, she's straight up gold digger. I'll just say that.
Yeah.
Soon she's going to play Harry out, and she's going to be looking for a new man.
Oh, she's going to get dumped, and then it'll be on OnlyFans. She'll be on OnlyFans.
Yeah, and I was thinking.
Yeah. No, and she goes in that direction.
Oh, yeah, I mean, she's going to make money.
Right. And it's not like she's going to get canceled like Paula Dean for that hard R.
Ooh.
Dude. Netflix gave her $100 million for 8 lousy episodes of this. Anyway. That's not important. Yes. The deal is, Joey, she's going to be looking for a man soon. Okay? And I think a propagandist with 10 years of experience on the radio could serve her well.
No.
And it'd be a lot of fun, be in the White House, having a good time. And
she ain't going to the White House.
Oh, no. Every once in a while she'd mention that she wanted to get into politics. And so imagine if Kamala Harris was our president, the Duchess, she'd be one of those, man, right up in there in the White House. That's another bullet we dodged, having to see that.
No, thank you.
All right, so there's my gossip gang.
All right. Well,
happy birthday,
you have
Sam.
a great birthday, Sammy.
Yeah, that's right. I guess that's my gift back, because I got Joey some marriage advice.
There you go.
Yeah. She's going to be looking.
Thank you.
All right,
thank you for that.
See you, Sammy. I'd hold out for Pam Bondi if I were you. Got a better shot.
No.
You said you got a better shot.
No. Oh, thank you for either.
You don't like strong women? Oh, I forgot. You want a woman you can dominate. I forgot about that.
That's not true. It's literally the opposite.
I know. Just want to hear you admit it.
Well, by the way, when I was reading that Jeffrey Tucker op-ed and the title of it is Harder Than We Thought.
Yeah.
Somebody texted me who will go unrevealed, but I have to read this text. Harder than we thought, eh? That's what my wife and I said after visiting Montgomery Men's Health. Woohoo! Great sponsor.
Great sponsors. Speaking of that, yesterday I heard the comment section getting to you yesterday afternoon about hour number 5 of something about
Romex Angler throwing bombs about how like I can't feel a beard, the wind going through my beard or something like that. It's like because I manicure it somewhat.
He was, dude. He was throwing them at you.
Oh no! And he said like if you're never gonna find a lady, you're gonna start playing for the other team.
I heard that comment too.
I have learned from listening to way too much Lady Gaga. It's not a choice.
Not a choice. That's right.
Not a choice.
Not a choice.
And of course, she's never wrong.
She's just born that way.
Not a choice.
Yeah, I thought that was pretty good. That's why I love the chat. The chat, you can say things in the chat that you just won't put on the phone.
I know. That's just, well, maybe one of these days they'll call up. Hey, before we hit this break, do you want to do a fun video clip?
Sure.
Well, it's kind of fun. But it's, you keep seeing stories like measles outbreaks.
Oh,
like
yeah.
There's some in Texas, and they're like
passed
a
away.
few in New Jersey, and Which, I mean, this, by the way, has happened like every year.
I thought so.
And it's interesting now that RFK Jr. is doing the whole MAHA thing at Health and Human Services. Now this is like news.
I thought they were blaming it on Trump.
But what somebody did very cleverly on the X platform, or the old Twitter, is they mashed up a famous TV show all the way back in the year the Earth stood still, 1969.
Well, great year.
You might know the show. I think it's called The Brady Bunch.
Oh, I love that show.
And the Brady Bunch is going to discuss the topic of measles.
Yes.
Then it will cut to Law and Order SVU, something that recently came out, and how they deal with the measles. It really is eye-opening. This is what America used to be, and this is what America is now. Let's listen in. This starts with the Brady Bunch episode.
What are you doing home from school? They sent me home.
Ah, Peter.
Measles. It's either measles or a strange case of red freckles. You have got a temperature. They told me 101.1. What's the record? Never mind.
Oh, are you sure it's the measles?
Well, he certainly got all the symptoms. A slight temperature, a lot of dots, and a great big smile.
A great big smile.
No school for a few days.
Say hello to my dotted son for me. Tell him I'll bring him some comic books and I'll see you later, dear.
Okay, honey, bye. Boy, this is the life, isn't it?
Yeah. If you have to get sick, you sure can't beat the measles.
That's right.
No medicine.
Inside or out, like shots, I mean.
Don't even mention shots. Yeah.
And okay, now, that was the Brady Bunch. Here's a recent episode of Law & Order SVU, a promo for it.
Go to school.
7 students confirmed with measles, 4 others possible.
How? They had to have been vaccinated. These moms never vaccinated their kids and lied about it. Vaccines are harmful.
You are endangering the health of every child in this city. Liv. No, it's turning blue. Call 911.
Yeah, where do we start going wrong?
It wasn't with the Brady Bunch.
Nope.
That was a great show.
That's ridiculous.
That's
then the
fear mongering.
The outbreak comes home. He's turning blue.
Oh, that's just straight up fear mongering. And you know as well as I do, there'll be a large percentage of society that falls for that.
You mean old people?
No.
Not all old people, but a good... I mean, who watches Law & Order SVU?
And it's got to be on the rerun.
Who's the demographic, if I could put it nicely, that watches Law & Order SVU?
Older than I.
And how old are you?
55.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure there are some people my age, but I'm just not into it.
I love that, because my grandfather still does watch NCIS.
Yeah, there's always like a different...
But there's all these other like shows they promo with NCIS. He tried watching the other NCIS, and like he's like, this Australia show sucks. No, LL Cool J is pretty cool.
I love LL Cool J.
Mm-hmm. And he goes, wait, that's LL Cool J? I'm like, yeah, that's LL Cool J. I'm like, this is a moment, isn't it? Anyway,
you gotta see.
They did a promo for a new show. They called it the FBI, and it's all these like really good-looking people that you'd like to see with their clothes off. And it's like, that's not the FBI.
There's no way they're FBI agents?
That's not the FBI. But
If
it's just
if they were,
like
they'd all be honeypots.
the flaccid attempts to try and like just keep the pretense up, to keep this veil up away from folks. It's just not working anymore.
Not so much.
It's working with certain folks still. But that's the sort of thing that will make you go, oh, like you feel it. You didn't prove it, but you've seen that mashup Brady Bunch from 1969 to a recent Law & Order SVU.
I remember the episode on the Brady Bunch. I'm thinking, I can't wait till we get measles. We get to just hang out. It's just, you don't have to go to school.
Right.
It's kind of like chickenpox.
When did we become so soft?
While I was at work, I can tell you that. Some of us were working.
Hey, this part of the program, you've been looking forward to this live spot all day. Brought to you by Alabama Home Mortgage.
Yeah, buddy. All right. Let me tell you some things I learned about Alabama Home Mortgage this morning.
Okay.
For one, they do USDA loans. We always talk about their VA loans.
Yeah.
Always talk about their VA loans. And then conventional loans. But this morning, I made the mistake of thinking they didn't do USDA loans. Madeline got in touch with me and quickly straightened me out on that.
Mm-hmm.
They do USDA loans and, like I said, VA loans, which guarantee, Joey, the best deal in town, a VA loan. They really look out for veterans. And out of all the people in Montgomery that you can get that loan through, Alabama Home Mortgage, most educated. This morning, I talked to her probably about 9:30. By 10 o'clock, I had a pre-approval letter.
Wow.
Yep.
So I didn't even know that they did that.
I didn't know they did USDA loans. I have been corrected. Madeline has corrected me. There'll probably be a spanking in my future, not the fun kind. So, that being said, I could not recommend them enough, especially after what I put her through today. So if you guys are thinking about buying a home or refinancing, man, they did a refinance the other day, 12 days. They had 12-day turnaround.
It's beautiful.
That is huge. So if you're thinking about refinancing, call Madeline up. Joey, you got her number. I can't think it off the top of my head.
567-4223.
See, there you go.
That's 567-4223.
And I called her up this morning. Literally, I think my first conversation, our first call was right at 8 o'clock. She answered on the second ring.
Or if you don't like the phone, you can always apply online at myalabamahomemortgage.com. What would you say, Eddie? Oh, yeah. There is a difference in mortgage company.
Huge difference.
I love it.
And plus, yesterday, we had her in here. Was she not a blast?
She's awesome.
Absolutely adore her.
And so is Kim.
Yeah, Kim's great.
I hadn't seen her in a while. We miss you, Kim.
Seen her on Facebook a while back, but that's fine. You send Madeline. We do love some Madeline.
So y'all check him out today. NMLS number 1586368, an equal housing lender.
He may not know whether he's coming or going, but whether you're going to work or coming home, Greg Budell is there. Mornings, 6 till 9, and afternoons, 3 till 6. Only on News Talk 93.1 FM, WACV.
What's your biggest investment? More than likely, it's your home. So treat it that way when you hire a painting contractor. With PBS Painting, there are no gimmicks, no $99 specials. Just quality painting and someone who treats your home with the same respect that you do. At PBS Painting, we have been painting for years and look forward to many more years to come. With PBS Painting, the job gets prepped properly, whether it's cleaning, scraping, or priming. We always use quality products, which is a must for a quality paint job. So if you're looking for a painter that doesn't need upfront money and is on the job at all times, then please give me a call. Scott Bowers and PBS Painting, 294-5122. That's PBS Painting, 294-5122. Look at some of our work on Facebook at PBS Painting Montgomery.
Are you tired of the mainstream media's biased reporting? Do you want to stay informed on the news that really matters to you? Look no further than 1819 News. At 1819 News, we bring you the latest in Alabama news, politics, sports, culture, and more. We've assembled a team of journalists with Alabama values dedicated to the truth and the truth alone. Visit us at 1819news.com today. That's 1819news.com. Subscribe to our newsletter. Honest News, Alabama Values.
No one wants to wait on service for an overhead door. With 20 years in the industry, you now have access to the best with All Access Overhead Door. All Access Overhead Doors offers prompt, professional service at affordable prices on all service and new garage doors for residential and commercial locations. All Access Overhead Door serves the river region and can take care of whatever you need when it comes to your overhead door. Remember, you have access to the best. All Access Overhead Door. Call and schedule an appointment today. 320-2440. And like them on Facebook. They sell the best and service the rest.
This hour of news and views is brought to you by our good friends at Alabama Home Mortgage. Alabama Home Mortgage, 567-4223. Visit them on the web at myalabamahomemortgage.com. NMLS number 1586368. An equal housing lender.
Rich Thomas weather brought to you by Clark Heating, Air, and Plumbing.
Hey, this is Robbie Clark. Spring is almost here. Stay cool with a spring tune-up with Clark Heating, Air, and Plumbing. Don't wait. Schedule today. Give us a call at 334-277-2125. Alabama certification number 09098.
The big storm system crossing the country is still keeping us windy today. Wind advisory remains in effect for wind gusts as high as 35 miles per hour for much of this day. It'll be mostly sunny, much cooler, with a high temperature only in the lower 60s. Partly cloudy, chilly tonight, overnight low temperature down to about 38. Tomorrow unseasonably cool with a high temperature only in the 50s. I've got us around 58 for the high. More sunshine Thursday and Friday. Friday's high in the lower 70s. We'll be in the mid-70s on Saturday with a chance of showers by afternoon. Showers and storms become likely on Saturday night. From the Blue Water Weather Center, this is Rich Thomas.
Trustworthy, accurate, immediate. Carrying your voice across the river region. News Talk 93.1 FM, WACV.
Joey Clark.
Welcome back to News and Views in the afternoon. I'll tell you what, when I saw Pelosi last night, ooh, yeah, I thought Dennis Miller is a genius.
Yeah.
Like, the line is always stuck in my head, but it becomes more and more true as the years go by. You remember when Miller used to do a regular thing on Bill O'Reilly?
Oh, yeah. Enjoyed it.
And there was this one moment where O'Reilly asked him something about Pelosi. And he says, that broad sleeps upside down in a cocoon of her own wings.
It's true.
And when you saw the photos
last night,
oh my goodness. It's awful.
Yeah.
It's like, I'll get you, my pretty.
That's why in politics, when you're done, you should go away. You should just fade away.
Yeah, I'll put it full screen.
It's awful.
Yeah, here's the Like, it's pretty bad.
Oh, they showed her a couple of times. And you'd see she's wrenching her hands and just uncomfortable to say the
like
least.
biting her teeth. And
Yeah.
What
Yeah.
is a tooth growing out of the wrong spot? I don't know. Or is it not set? Like, does she
Well,
need more like denture glue?
She took a tumble, so there's no tumble. She doesn't look well. Say that.
By the way, has it ever happened in the history of man that somebody took a really big tumble to I'll Tumble For You by Boy George?
I don't know, but I felt like I've come pretty close.
Thoughts that you have sometimes. But seriously, look at, like, I will get you. And then Riley Gaines,
Yeah.
I don't know what it was about that angle, but she looked cross-eyed.
Not a good one.
I don't know what
Kinda
that
like
was.
that picture they keep putting out with Cash Patel.
Mm-hmm. And I loved when they cut to, like, Fox cut to the two Daily Wire guys, Ben Shapiro, but in particular, Matt Walsh. She's like, what do I even have to be here? Like, with that big old bushy beard, you Catholic curmudgeon. Yeah, some of the motley crew assembled, and folks were like, Elon Musk is wearing a suit. And I was like, yeah.
Yeah, I saw a comment last night. They said Elon Musk was told he better wear a suit. Like, really? You really? In what world do you think that actually happened?
Yeah, come on. The guy loves dressing up.
He can do, plus he can do what he wants.
Right.
He can do what he wants.
No, but like all the Halloween costumes. Remember that one where people were like, he's the devil.
Joey, if you had unlimited money and unlimited brain capacity for that matter, would you really care what anybody else thought? As long as you were having a good time?
To the extent of, I don't want them to kill me. Yeah, sure.
Right. And now that's something that troubled me, and we talked about a little bit on
Watching,
Rogan's podcast.
yeah, what he said on Rogan's podcast.
That really hit home with me. Because I that's kind of always been in the back of my mind. When is it when you find out too much? And he obviously has put it out there. I know too much now.
Yeah. But he keeps on trucking.
Yeah, he does.
I mean, and we'll see. It's just the Democrats in particular seem lost in the wilderness.
Oh, big time. They're getting run over, dude.
And they really just can't help themselves. We have a few clips of this. I think the best moment of the night was DJ.
Oh,
the kid with brain cancer who's gone through.
I saw him this morning on some things too, yeah.
Like, let's play him first,
Okay.
because this is a clip the White House put out. It's also making the rounds. I think even Governor Ivey made him part of, like, state police or troopers or something. Like, and he's been sworn in like 800 times, all these different
Wow.
departments and stuff.
Wow.
And the kid has really been through it. So here's a clip of
Yeah,
DJ himself talking about his experiences.
But you wanna know the craziest part? Because my mom bathes me and my brothers all together. And out of nowhere, I locked up. And then my dad was calling my name, and I started going to the slow thing. And he said, "Stop playing with me." And I then I started to act, I ain't gonna lie, I started to act slow. And then as soon as he said that, we was speeding all the way, running lights, going to the hospital. And then next thing you know, I was seizing on the table. They said, "No, we gonna have to go in his brain tonight." Ever since then, I had 13 brain surgeries, and that's how many times my personality has changed.
Wow.
That's the thing that got me. Just
What a
hearing that alone.
And that's something that you don't hear from a terminally ill child.
Mm-mm.
They had 5 months to live. I'm gonna keep on going until my gas tanks run out. And that's when God calls you home. You never know when God's gonna call you home. I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for my dad. I know he's pretty proud of me, and I'm pretty proud of him too. And I'd like to thank President Trump, because if it wasn't for him, I wouldn't be here today.
And I believe that's because of the right to try legislation
Right.
that was signed by Trump. And so that was, I think, the most beyond politics, like, wonderful moment when Trump's like, we're going to make you an honorary Secret Service agent.
1000%.
He's sworn in right there. He gets the badge.
Yeah.
And then he's like, let me hug the guy. And he neck hugs the agent, the head of Secret Service. Oh, and how big his eyes got. Like, what? And then he's having so much fun. The kid that was put into West Point, he's going and running, high-fiving him, all this stuff. And that brings me to, well, let's start with the worst in the media. I mean, this clip, if initially you're thinking like, well, maybe Nicole Wallace has changed. No, she just can't help herself. Let's listen in.
The lesson in finding one thing that you let yourself feel. And I let myself feel joy about DJ. And I hope he's alive for another, 95 years, right? And I hope he lives and the life he wants to live. He wants to be a cop. He knows what he wants to do. And maybe when you have childhood cancer, that crystallizes for you. And I hope he has a long life as a law enforcement officer.
And so right there, it's like, Nicole, stop.
See her two co-anchors there giving her the eye like, you better stop.
Stop right there. That was fine right there.
Yep.
But she wouldn't stop.
But I hope he never has to defend the United States Capitol against Donald Trump's supporters. And if he does, I hope he isn't one of the 6 who loses his life to suicide. And I hope he isn't one who has to testify against the people who carried out acts of seditious conspiracy and then live to see Donald Trump part.
Oh, that's an evil woman. Evil woman right there.
Wow. Now, you didn't feel the love, Nicole.
No.
It's like, we have to go back to our programming. We have to go back to our programming. That brings me to, because, Elon being there last night, you could hear the boos from the Democrats as the cheers are going on. Now, did you see that clip of Elon kind of standing upright and tall, like looking over the whole crowd before the speech started? He's like, and he's looking up and he's like,
All I could think was like robot.
Yeah.
Taking it all in.
No, I think he's an alien. I do. I think he's an alien.
At this point, I would not be that surprised. I got to be honest.
But I'll just full screen this before I play it. Try not to be too alarmed, Eddie. Ah!
Good Lord.
That is, if you're just listening, that is Maxine Waters with a camera way too close to her face.
Yeah, but even at 50 feet, it's too close.
How much makeup is she? How many inches of makeup is she wearing?
Not enough, Joey. Not enough.
So this is a short clip, but it's illustrative of the larger point that's happening with the Democrats right now.
Okay.
Let's just listen in.
Turned it over to him. And we don't know everything that Elon Musk has done with his high technology ass. We don't know what he's being accused of by some as it may relate to the election. But we're not going to give up in investigating and finding. Turned it over to him. And we don't know everything that Elon Musk has done with his high technology ass.
Don't eat me, lady. Like, why do they all remind you of like the evil stepmother, like hiding in the woods in some fairy tale? Like,
whenever I see officials like that, I'm like, okay, reminded myself she had to get elected.
Yeah.
People had to deal with her to elect her.
Right.
What the heck happened? What went along the way? It literally takes you 5 minutes to meet someone. You go, good person, bad person, for the most part. This lady here, 2 seconds, you know right away. Not good. Not good.
We don't know what he's up to with his high-tech ass.
She's so eloquent when she speaks.
Oh, man. Fearing things they don't understand.
Well, fearing things because she knows the gig is up.
Yeah, I think in the case of Maxine, she's quite the operator and knows exactly what she's doing, but doesn't really know what to do, actually.
I think it was her daughter that made either $250,000 or $500,000 off her mom's election campaign.
Ooh.
Yeah.
It's a family business, man.
I get it in the sense of who else can you trust, but also, I don't know, I don't know.
You don't trust them?
No, I don't trust them.
I don't trust them.
Well, I go ahead and tell you, nobody's going to screw you like family anyway.
We certainly don't trust Elon Musk with his high technology ass.
And that big dog fella. What's up with that?
Just absolutely crazy. But I truly believe at the end of the day, especially because you'll see this theme of like, why are you trying to go to Mars when there are hungry mouths to feed here on Earth? I mean, and I've wrote about this a while ago. Remember the piece I wrote called "It Was Never Just Whitey on the Moon"?
Yes.
And here's the last sentence. Feeding hungry mouths in an enduring way requires more than just food for the day. Poverty is best solved by inspiring men to join in others' dreams of greatness, or to look up from the gutter themselves and stride toward a star of their own making. Now, I think sometimes people get caught too much in like the solve every little miserable problem that we all suffer.
Yeah.
Some more than others for certain. But if you kind of rule out any sort of person really going for it, it's one of my more fundamental fears when I look at society, the voices of the gutter. So in Discord and because somebody has committed the sin of dreaming up an impossible dream. It could be dreams of space travel or anything else.
No, it's crabs in a bucket, man.
They pretend to care for men's needs. Those voices pretend to care for men's needs, but their true aim is to rule over man by destroying the urge for greatness in man's soul, lowering his expectations, and fostering a bitter hatred of the good for being good. You see that in all walks of life, but you especially see it in politics. And it's nasty, even if you don't trust his high-tech ass. We'll be right back.
Want to carry News Talk in your pocket? Download the News Talk 93.1 app from the App Store. Available on iPhone and Android. Never miss a moment. Download now.
When you need a new door or window replaced, you want someone experienced who delivers expert craftsmanship every time. Davis Door and Sash. Right now, you can get a tax incentive for installing energy-efficient doors and windows. Mention this ad and get 10% off materials. Davis Door and Sash was voted Best of the River Region in Windows and Installation in 2024. We'd love to work for you. Call 334-288-6010 or visit davisdoorandsashalabama.com. Davis Door and Sash is the perfect fit for your home.
This is your roving reporter, and today I am talking with an elk. Hey man, Mr. Elk, I was just wondering, what do elk do to take care of their money? Well, like most smart folks, we call David Ernest. You mean Alabama's most favorite asset preservationist? That's him, man. We call him up at 334-279-7431 or 205-479-0839. I see. Yes, he is our preferred money man. The money man with the money plan. You've been paying attention. Well, could you give us those numbers one more time? 334-279-7431 or 205-479-0839. And I just want to try to give you a heads up, man. Oh, what's that? I'm not an elk. Not an elk, huh? Well, then, pray tell, what are you? Knights of Columbus. I am not even going to make a comment. Well, the baby liked it.
This hour of news and views is brought to you by our good friends at Alabama Home Mortgage. Alabama Home Mortgage, 567-4223. Visit them on the web at myalabamahomemortgage.com. NMLS number 1586368. An equal housing lender.
All the headlines the mainstream media won't touch. Your News Talk station. News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
Joey Clark.
Welcome back. Let's go right to the phones. It's that time again to talk to Michael Cohen from Cohen's Electronics and Appliances. Hey, Michael, how you doing?
I'm great, Joey. How are you?
We're in a good mood today. I think we're beaming after that speech last night.
He did good. He did good. He kept his composure.
Very
good.
good.
The sergeant at arms involved once, twice. It was a good night. And how did they get away with being on the wrong side of everything?
Good point.
Because they're on the right side of history.
Daughters.
Yeah, right.
All
that
issue.
issue.
Have daughters.
All right.
Yeah.
Just the simple ones.
It is a little nuts. It really is. But hey, what's the score there today at Cohen's?
It's 14-0. It's been a good day. Got a nice ladies lift chair fixed for.
Nice.
We've got some other stuff that we've gotten accomplished today, and also I have these really cool little speakers made by Sonos. It's called a Roam. It's a portable speaker that you can plug in the house, or you can either have it battery operated, small enough to fit in your gym bag, or for your wife that has a purse. It can fit in her purse, but it sounds great. You can Bluetooth it. It can be on your Wi-Fi. It sells for like $189, and I've got some in black and white that you can get for $119.
Oh, wow.
Oh, nice.
So great thing to take camping, take to the beach. Just put on your patio while you're out there enjoying the cool weather.
Well, folks, y'all get by there. Check them out in person at 2515 Eastern Boulevard here in Montgomery. Of course, you can always shop from home at thinkcohens.com, but there's nothing like actually stopping by the Boulevard. They're open 9 to 6 Monday through Friday, 9 to 4 on Saturdays. And find Michael when you stop by and be like, hey, I want to look at one of those speakers. I'm due for a new speaker.
Mm-hmm.
They're pretty cool speakers. They work great. They look good. Anyway, and you'll enjoy it.
Well, I appreciate it as always, Michael.
Thank y'all. Y'all come by and have a good day.
See you, Michael.
Micro-retirement? That's what they were just talking about on Fox Business.
I don't like the sound of that.
No, I don't like that either. Let's go to Skeeter real quick. Hey, Skeeter.
Hey, y'all, how you doing, man?
Pretty good.
All right.
How you doing, bud?
Hey, I bought some stuff from Cohen's Electronics years ago. I'm saying like 1983.
Mm.
You know, if they've been open that long, I remember it's been a while back.
Oh, yeah, they've been open
right downtown
65
there.
years, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, right downtown down there.
Mm-hmm.
Matter of fact, I think he bought some used furniture from them.
There you go.
But anywho, I heard y'all was speaking about that fine example of a human being, that trustworthy Maxine Waters. And it got me to thinking when she was out there in the steps of one of them buildings in Washington saying, we don't know what Elon Musk has on us.
Yes, I do remember that. Yeah.
I do remember that.
Ain't that something? Now, she let that slip.
Yeah, she might not trust his high technology ass, but we don't trust her low tech ass either.
Right. That's right, because she don't know what he has on her ass.
That's right.
But and that one guy that got threw out of the speech last night.
Yeah.
That race baiting son of a gun. He was the one out there standing next to Maxine talking about that Elon Musk, showing his excellent vocabulary.
Right.
He couldn't even get the words out. Shaking his cane at the world. Lord,
Yeah, I had never seen anything like that. Like somebody actually having to be kicked out.
Yeah.
Yeah, me either.
And J.D. Vance a couple times was like, get him out.
Oh, J.D. Vance is the dad so many of the Democrats never had. There were a few moments where they started making a little noise and he just gave the
Give him the look.
And you hear him like
Yeah,
quiet.
he did. Didn't he?
Yeah, he did.
JD would take you out back behind the woodshed there, boy.
Yeah, you were. You're right.
Go find a switch.
But I couldn't believe them sitting over there with them little signs.
I know.
And even when Trump was talking about we're getting rid of the murderers and all that,
Right.
or about boys and girls sports, none of them clapping.
Nope.
They always stick together no matter what the issue. And when the Republicans learn how to do that, we got the majority in both houses.
Well,
when are the Republicans going to learn how to do that?
we shall see. They have
Good
the
luck.
test right ahead of them in the next few weeks.
Yep, that's true.
I just had to get that a little bit off my chest, man. Thanks for letting me in.
Thank
Appreciate
you,
it, Skeeter.
See you, brother.
We got to hit this break. Final hour of the program coming up.
Broadcasting from the Riverside Chevrolet Master Control Center, this is WACV Cusana, News Talk 93.1 FM. When it's Chevy, it's Riverside.
With SRN News, I'm John Scott. Alaska troopers say multiple skiers are reported trapped in the Alaska backcountry after being swept up in an avalanche. The number of skiers and their conditions not immediately available. The slide happened late Tuesday afternoon near the community of Girdwood. That's about 40 miles south of Anchorage. In health news, makers of the popular obesity treatments Wegovy and Zepbound are cutting prices for people without insurance. Danish drug maker Novo Nordisk will drop prices 23% for all doses of Wegovy. The new pricing available to both the uninsured and people who have insurance that does not cover the weight loss drugs. On Wall Street, stocks remain higher, the Dow adding 507 points, the Nasdaq up 249. This is SRN News.
Charlie Kirk here. I've been thinking, why does it feel like losing weight is harder than ever before? Mixed messages, fad diets, and quick fix solutions. Many people are left stuck and exhausted trying to fight a battle they can't seem to win. If you feel this way, you're not alone. I used to feel that way too. But let me tell you, it's not your fault. Your body is working against you, and delaying action only makes it harder. I took a step 2 years ago and called PhD Weight Loss and Nutrition and lost 40 pounds. I feel great and have kept it off. If you are ready to make a change for life, call 855-696-2020. That is 855-696-2020 to schedule your weight loss consultation. The first 11 callers who mention healthy will get 2 free weeks added to their weight loss package. Call 855-696-2020 and mention the word healthy. Visit them at myphdweightloss.com. That is myphdweightloss.com. It works, everybody. Check it out at myphdweightloss.
Rich Thomas Weather is brought to you by MPM Feed and Seed. It's time to get those gardens ready. From seeds to plants to fertilizer, MPM has what you need. Shop MPM Feed and Seed in Prattville, 1313 Highway 31 North. Open Monday through Friday, 8 to 5, Saturdays, 8 to 1.
The big storm system crossing the country is still keeping us windy today. Wind advisory remains in effect for wind gusts as high as 35 miles per hour for much of this day. It'll be mostly sunny, much cooler, with a high temperature only in the lower 60s. Partly cloudy, chilly tonight, overnight low temperature down to about 38. Tomorrow unseasonably cool with a high temperature only in the 50s. I've got us around 58 for the high. More sunshine Thursday and Friday. Friday's high in the lower 70s. We'll be in the mid-70s on Saturday with a chance of showers by afternoon. Showers and storms become likely on Saturday night. From the Blue Water Weather Center, this is Rich Thomas.
1819 News.
A statewide media outlet here in Alabama that's a competitor to 1819 News is now losing its editor-in-chief. Alabama Media Group announced this week that Hollis Towns will be resigning as vice president of content and the editor-in-chief of AL.com. Towns will have his last day on the job be March 28th. Towns is apparently going to pursue other opportunities after taking some time off. He came to AL.com in March of 2024, 1 year ago. Before that, Towns worked for Gannett News out of the state of New York. Before Towns left that position, he was named in a discrimination lawsuit against his former employer for allegedly saying the hiring policy there was to not hire straight white males. I'll be back with more Alabama stories after this.
Where I was living was not a great place to live anymore. I began to pray for a place to go, praying for all of these things that a 9-year-old would want. I wanted horses, big house with a bunch of people my age. I wanted parents. I wanted a mom and a dad. Before I even prayed it, the Lord had already answered my prayer with the Big Oak Ranch. Who would that 9-year-old be if she never came to the Big Oak Ranch? I would be trying to fight for survival instead of fighting to break a cycle.
Big Oak Ranch, a Christian home for children needing a chance.
U.S. Marshals were in Decatur this past Tuesday, along with other local law enforcement officers. They arrested a man on charges of sexually abusing a child. 38-year-old Timmy Anthony Jr. was apprehended at a Quality Inn hotel. He's charged with the sexual abuse of a child under the age of 12. The incumbent mayor of Tuscaloosa, Walt Maddox, has won another 4 years as mayor. Maddox was running against Denson Farrell in the mayoral race. Voting was held this past Tuesday. Also, a brush fire broke out in Tuscaloosa this past Tuesday and spread to a nearby home, subsequently burning that home down. An investigation is underway into what first started that brush fire. I'm Andrea Tice.
For more news affecting Alabamians, go to 1819news.com. And while you're there, subscribe to the daily newsletter.
This hour of news and views is brought to you by our good friends at Cole Plumbing, 279-8919. Cole Plumbing is number one in the number two business. You don't have to dig a hole. They have proprietary pipelining technology. Ask them about their tankless water heaters. Remember, when you have trouble with your bowl, call on Cole.
Tucker Pecan is in a brand new location at 1935 Mulberry Street, but they've still got the same great products they had when they were downtown. Here's David Little to tell you more.
Hey, David Little at Tucker Pecan here. I tell you what, since we have moved, we've had great response. We have lots and lots of people coming by our new store on 1935 Mulberry Street, and it's a lot of fun. You know why? Because we're getting to add new items. We're adding new candies, new jellies, new jams. We even have a honey called Hot Pecan Butter. It's so good. We have a hot honey. We have a peach jam. We have a hemp jelly that is mangoes, pineapples, and jelly. It is so good. We've got all those things. Plus, we've got all the great candies we've had before. And, you know, we're in a very convenient location. You don't have to go to downtown. You come to Tucker Pecan at 1935 Mulberry Street. Come shop with us, and we'll take care of all your gift needs, candies, or if you're just hungry, come by, and we'll fix you up.
Hi, this is Bo Goodson with the Goodson Group with your Real Estate Minute.
My last message was the report for 2024 real estate market in the river region. According to industry experts, they predict for 2025, we will have more inventory to choose from for our buyers, more buyers for sellers to show their houses to. Here are 5 tips for buyers or sellers in 2025. Number 1, sellers need to price their home at fair market value with the help of your realtor. Number 2, buyers need to be pre-qualified by a local lender prior to shopping for a house to save them time. Number 3, use a certified residential specialist or CRS to purchase or sell your home. Less than 2% of realtors nationwide have this designation. You need an expert now. 4, use someone with 48 years of real estate experience to help you with your largest investment. Number 5, quit waiting. Now's the time to buy or sell. Call Bo Goodson at 221-2883, the Goodson Group, or 551-0225.
The views and opinions of the following program are solely those of the host and other contributors. These do not necessarily represent those of Liberty Acquisitions 825, Blue Water Broadcasting, its management, staff, or any advertisers. It's time for Montgomery's conversational radio show. It's news and views on News Talk 93.1 FM. To join the conversation, call 272-9228.
This is how you conduct yourself in a democracy?
Joey Clark.
Welcome back. I'm Joey Clark. Eddie Vader here in the studio with me.
How you doing, bro?
I'm doing all right. You're getting hungry.
Yes.
Hungry for what?
I could handle some barbecue, honestly, right now.
Yeah, some barbecue?
I could handle some, whether it be a sandwich. I could handle a sandwich. I could definitely handle some ribs.
Like, you need to go buy Smokehouse Pit Barbecue.
That's all I got on my mind, Joey. It's all I got on my mind.
Maybe you can get both. Maybe get some ribs and a sandwich. Because they're back to the original recipe.
Right.
And that means they taste good.
Let me tell you, I smell them before I get there. Which even, so I'll have a plan. Like the other day, I had a plan. This is what I was going to get. But as I got closer, the smells coming out of there, I changed my menu completely. And now I'm craving the sandwich again. I should have gone with the sandwich because I'm craving it.
See, and I'm partial to that spicy barbecue sauce they have. That adds a little extra.
Yes.
Oh, it's so good. And then you get into the sides, like I know you'll eat a big old bowl of mac and cheese.
Won't I, though?
And a big old side of fried okra.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, man. Or you get the camp stew with the ribs and you dip the ribs in
there.
there.
That's it, Joey. That's it.
Oh. And then don't forget about their breakfast.
Got an amazing breakfast.
Maybe save that appetite, go buy tomorrow morning. Get you the Fat Boy breakfast. It's a sampler with the big old pancake and all the different breakfast meats, some eggs, some cheese grits.
No matter what, I'm getting the cheese grits.
The cheese grits. You might think, well, all sorts of places have cheese grits. No, not like Smokehouse Pit Barbecue.
You're right.
This is a true great Southern breakfast there, folks. And of course, Smokehouse Pit Barbecue is located where they've always been.
Right there in Millbrook.
Main Street in Millbrook. And be sure when you stop by, whether you're getting lunch or dinner to go or dining in, or you're stopping by for an amazing breakfast, to tell them that Joey and Eddie, those fellas on the radio, sent you. We've had a few comments rolling in here.
Have we now?
Yeah, Romex Angler's back. He says, does your leather hat have earmuffs that fold out? That would be cool if it did. No.
That would be cool, though, Joe.
It's not that type of hat.
It could be, though.
And Romex is being a little introspective and vulnerable here. He says, it's just jealousy. I want a cap like that, but no way I'm getting one now. He says, I'll have to clean this up for on air. Well, I'm about to start my colonoscopy prep, so my day is getting crappier by the minute. Ew. He wishes Sam a happy birthday. And Liz sure was mad when he called her Pocahontas. That was the best moment of the night,
that was
as far
hysterical.
as I'm concerned. It was very funny.
Because I don't think she saw it coming. And she was over there trying to play, I'm a pompous. She's playing on her phone, not even paying attention.
Mm-hmm.
The best person to me was AOC. She didn't show up.
Yeah, that was smart on her.
I'm telling you, that was genius. And she got to hold like a live stream so she could complain from a distance. Good. All about that.
272-9228. Let's go to James. Hello, James.
And they didn't throw her out, did they, Joey?
No, they didn't have to throw her out.
Joe, I just got a few observations based on some of your advertisers. Is it okay?
Depends on your observations.
Well, you know, we love barbecue, right?
100%.
Okay, I mean, but here's what I got. When I was a young man, majored in physical education at AUM, the state of Alabama went from 4 physical education units to graduate high school down to 1. So I had to change my curriculum, or it was suggested strongly that I do so. So we went to biological sciences and physical education, 7 through 12. And this wasn't something that was necessarily offered as a suggestion. It was more or less told to me, if you want to be employable, this is what you got to do.
Mm-hmm.
So now, here in Alabama, and I could have my order incorrect, but we have the first or the largest, the fattest adults and the second fattest adolescents, teenagers. And I could have the order there. It could be second and first.
Right.
But we have an issue with obesity in the state of Alabama. And you go to Walmart, you try to find a pair of blue jeans. What do you have? All of them are stretchy pants, right, Joey? We got the flex
stretchy pants
material.
Well, they're more comfortable, even if you are skinny. Even if you're skinny, it's better to have the stretchy pants.
Yeah.
I don't care for stretchy pants, but hey, man, if you like stretchy pants, I mean that's.
Hey, have you ever tried them?
Honestly, no, but I just.
Yeah, they look like jeans. They feel like jeans. They just have a little more give.
Yep,
it's pretty nice.
And then
sitting in some now.
On your advertiser, you have these people that want to take drugs or are prescribed drugs to lose weight. I mean, haven't we figured out that we need to try to stay off as many drugs as we can? That drugs are an issue, like, for example, opioids and those sorts of things, fentanyl. Am I making any kind of sense at all, Joey? I should have just stayed in bed and continued my nap.
Well, anything is a matter of balance and also your own personal choices. If one of the, you might be referring to a national trade spot, as far as like the GOP.
I'm not burning on your advertisers. I'm just saying that's what I hear on the radio.
But those things have a use if you use them correctly. Yeah. If you think that drug's just magic and all of a sudden you'll be fit, and that's not how it works. It more is a great way to suppress the appetite and you retrain yourself not to have these cravings and whatnot. And I've learned, losing a bunch of weight recently, that you could eat great food. You can eat some delicious barbecue. You can eat a big old cheeseburger.
Just got to burn it off.
But you don't do it every day, and you earn it, essentially. Yeah. And it's a matter of, everybody's different. Everybody burns at a different metabolic rate and has, schedules and whatnot. I think we can still enjoy the really tasty, delicious things in life and maybe have a little assistance from new technologies, including pharmaceuticals. But at the end of the day,
that on my barbecue.
Yeah, please don't.
Okay.
I don't think that'll mix.
But see, exercise is what I'm trying to get at here, Joey. Is that exercise to achieve our fitness level is a better thing than going out and taking drugs.
Yes, I agree with that.
Okay, I mean that's just the point I'm trying to make. Maybe
and even with the drugs, you still need to exercise.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well. Succinct is not necessarily my forte. How about that?
It's all right.
Can we at least agree on that, Joey?
Yeah, man. I exercise 6 days a week, pretty hard.
6 days a week. Well, how much weight have you lost?
About 40 pounds.
40 pounds. What are we down to since we're inquiring?
200.
200. How tall are you, Joey? How tall are you?
5'1".
I'm looking for that body index, man.
Like 5'10". I'm like
5'10".
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well. All right. So just
I want to get down to 190, but
you look too skinny at 190.
Yeah, you think so?
Yep.
Well, just in
flex on
case
you,
some woman comes up and she's looking, then I'll know what to help her. Which way to point her. You know what I'm saying?
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, Joey,
Mm-hmm.
if you find some let's look at twins. Okay. You find some young woman that wants to make her parents mad, you got my number, right?
Sure.
You follow my thought process?
Yeah, too much. I don't want to follow anymore.
See, like there's two twins, and one of them's in your age group, and the other one wants to make her mom and daddy mad.
Right.
Give me a call.
Thank you.
Thank you, James.
I'm done with that.
Sure.
I'm done.
You need that number?
No.
You sure?
No. We had caller ID until you delete it. No, I'm not. I'm not getting into that.
Well, just in case,
like
Joey.
all the daddy issues
Just
and
in
all
case.
that.
Good luck finding a girl without daddy issues.
What do you mean?
Did I say that out loud? Nothing.
Hey, let's go to the phones and
Yeah,
talk to
shall
Papa B. Hey, Papa B.
Papa B.
Time to break out the antihistamines, Eddie.
Yes, sir.
Twice a year, but it's bad.
Yeah, it's
I
coming.
swear.
It's coming, man.
Well, I mean, it used to be like, yeah, okay, I could count on it seasonally.
No.
And I used to always have to figure it out. Why am I feeling so bad? And falling in there.
It comes
now at my age. It's like just continually.
Yes.
It gets bad. It's bad, and then it gets worse.
It's several
and then it
times a
gets
year.
bad.
Instead of it just being like a maybe once or twice a year treatment, it's like, darn, my allergies are back, but I'm in the middle of winter.
I know.
Yeah.
It's that. I don't want to gross anybody out, but I guess I'm going to. It's that phlegm that just sits right at the top of your throat.
That's what we all
You
got.
can't get a full cough.
Mm-mm.
A full cough doesn't do it. You have to kind of hack it up.
Do the
like a hair
hacka-hacka.
cough or something.
Yep.
You can use a neti
Oh
pot.
my God. Yeah. Okay. Too much information.
Yeah, I was about to say. More coming up on the show about phlegm.
I can tell you all about
Everything you need to know about phlegm. 7 reasons
Well,
why.
You talked about poop a while ago, so I guess this does not even qualify. So, anyway.
Well,
boy,
it's
last night was-
Scatological Wednesday.
There you go.
Yeah. Well, last night was so beautiful.
Wasn't it, though?
Yeah.
It was just so, and Donald Trump, he called it up front. There's nothing that he can say or do that will make these people get
I'm so
up.
glad he did it.
I love
I'm
that.
so glad
Just
that
to
he
their
just
face.
called it right out.
And
Yep.
right. And then they sat there and proved him right. Unbelievable.
Yeah.
Did they even clap for that young
No.
guy? That
No, it's so disgusting.
There
one
were
of these
a
police-
spattering of a few, but the vast majority of them just kept
Yep.
sitting down scowling.
Yep.
That's sad. I'm kind of. I want them to keep doing it. Don't get me wrong, but it's just sad for them to be like that, But by the time Donald Trump and what he's built here get through with them,
Mm-hmm.
they ain't gonna be in charge of nothing.
Right.
Nothing. You ain't in charge of nothing. They could have a cheer going on. Oh, and by the way, you're welcome. Because we see what happens when you do get to be in charge. Everything gets 1,000% foobarred in a big old hurry.
Yep.
If you don't know what foobar means, go ask somebody in the military.
They can tell you in a minute.
Dumb. These people can mess this up so fast. Oh my goodness! And it's going to take a while for it to get straightened out, but I think it's on the way. One thing that I'm excited. Well, excited about. That's not the right word, but interested in.
Yes.
It's when they find out what these NGOs have been doing with the money.
Yep.
If they find out,
Oh,
and
they're
I
gonna.
think they're going to, that they have been using it to fund riots that have
Pallets of
damaged
bricks.
personal property and caused bodily injury and death. All hell needs to break loose on top of them. But
Mm-hmm.
you're using our money to hurt us? Really? How am I wrong about that, Joey?
You're not?
Do you think that we're going to find that out? Do you think that's what's going to happen?
Possibly. I don't know. I would like to see. You got to go through that web. I'd imagine with all these his gang of 20-somethings that nobody should trust or whatever running all these AI programs, they'll find something.
Right. Well, for sure, for a fact, I believe we can already say that George Soros funds some of it, and a lot of that NGO money comes through him somehow.
Oh yeah. Well, he learned how to tap into that system too.
Well, he knew how to
Yes,
build
he
the
did.
infrastructure and all the essentially it's like Russian nesting dolls,
Yeah.
doll within a doll within a doll.
Yep.
He's very
Right.
skilled at it, and they then pump the money through that system he built.
Right. Well, I mean, not to belabor the point, and I know y'all got to go, but he virtually admitted the other night that, that he and I guess his organizations were involved in the overthrow of the Ukrainian election, running that color revolution over there to install Zelensky. Unbelievable. But anyway, all right, guys, thanks a lot for letting me get on and chat just a little bit.
Hey, thank you, Papa B.
Now, it came out earlier today that the Supreme Court has ruled that President Trump must unfreeze $1.9 billion in foreign USAID payments. Justice Samuel Alito blasts the majority, with Justices Thomas, Gorsuch, and Kavanaugh joining in dissent. Quote, does a single district court judge who likely lacks jurisdiction have the unchecked power to compel the government of the United States to pay out and probably lose forever $2 billion taxpayer dollars? The answer to that question should be an emphatic no.
Right.
But a majority of this court apparently thinks otherwise. I am stunned. That is literally in the dissenting opinion. Pretty remarkable.
But with him releasing that fundage, is there a way where we can track where every one of those dollars go now? Because let's say they release that funding and we literally see it go to condoms for Gaza or some ridiculous thing like that. At that point, will the Supreme Court pull their own head out of their ass and go, hey, maybe we overstepped ourselves here?
Well, and I think what the lower judges and the folks suing are hanging their hat on is, well, this is money for services already rendered.
So fraud already given?
I don't. We already did the work. Now pay us. It's like an invoice thing.
Sure. Okay. Show me the work. Proof. Give me proof of work.
Right. But then also breaking, automakers receive 1 month tariff exemption. Stocks rising on that news. And Trump and Trudeau are now talking tariffs. They just did on a phone call.
I think part of that too is your auto industry's got to prep for that. It's not as easy as flipping a switch.
Right. There's no apparent breakthrough in the trade tensions between the two countries.
Yeah, you've got to get suppliers. That's a little bit more hectic than people really want to believe.
Well, we shall see what the next step
But I love it.
is.
I love it just the same.
Hey, do you want to watch a murder?
Nah, why not?
Yeah. I mean, I'm not usually one for snuff films.
Yeah.
That just seems evil. But Stephen A. Smith went on The View.
Oh, yeah, Joe.
And he murdered that old bat, Joy Behar, is that her name? Behar. And this is what I mean, by the way, I was telling Jeff Poor earlier in the day, the cool kids are not with the Democrats. It doesn't mean that they're all in with Trump.
Right.
It means like your kind of cool kid commentators, your influencers, your folks in the, like Stephen A. in the podcast sports space or comedy podcasters stuff. They're not explicitly political people, but they're also very successful people. It's why people tune into them. They're always compelling. Stephen A. being in the upper tier of that.
They've got legit questions. If this is my party, I don't understand what's going on.
So here's that moment that unfolds, a murder on national television.
It's only been in office for 6 weeks. Seems like 6 years, doesn't it? Mm-hmm. And he's been going around with his cronies touting his so-called landslide and blowout win. But he won the popular vote by 1.5%, one of the smallest ever, and he won the general election by less than 50%. So what kind of mandate is this really?
Well, it is a mandate, and I'm going to explain why. And I don't mind the question, but let me be very clear. I'm no supporter of Trump. I'm a supporter of truth and the facts. And here's the facts. The man won every swing state. He increased in terms of his voter turnout in his favor from the standpoint of blacks, Latinos, and young voters. He increased his numbers in that regard from 2020. 89% of the counties shifted to the right. That's a mandate. We can sit up there and play around all we want to. In 2020, Trump didn't win the popular vote. He didn't win the electoral college vote. A matter of fact, the Republicans hadn't won the popular vote, if I remember correctly, since 2004. But they did this year. So 20 years after they last won the popular vote, they won the popular vote. They won the electoral college vote. The man won every swing state. And on top of it all, 89% of the counties shifted against. I don't understand how people can look at that and say, there's no mandate. There's a mandate.
Well, it's a different
When that
definition of a mandate, I guess.
But the problem is that if you're the Democratic Party and you lost 49.8% to 48.3%, and you're looking at that 1.5% dip, that's an excuse for you to say, what we did really wasn't that bad.
Some people didn't
We
show
should
up.
continue to do that.
Do you think
No,
that those-
don't continue to do it.
do you
Find a
think
new
that-
strategy.
He's right.
Yeah, but they're not listening.
Certain elements aren't. Seriously, I think it's going to take an outsider.
Oh, yeah. But I
That
think there'll be
essentially gets the Democratic Party in line.
I think there'll be a split,
provides new
split
leadership.
First. I think there'll be a split fight in the party first, and then folks will fall back in line.
272-9228. Let's go to line 3. You're on there. Who's this? Hello?
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 Hey, you're on there. Who's this?
Oh, wow. My name's Aubrey.
Hey, Aubrey. How are you?
I'm well. How are you guys?
Pretty good.
Great.
I've never done a call like this before, so I'm kind of nervous.
Oh, yeah, it's all good.
That's cool.
We've never done a show like this before, so we're good.
Okay, cool. No, it's not you, Eric. Sorry, my son's here. So I'm actually a progressive voter.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not a conservative, but I grew up on a farm in eastern Ohio, and I have a lot of Republicans in my family. And I'm I think one of the few Democrats that I know of who really wants to reach across the aisle and try to understand what's going on the Republican side.
Mm-hmm.
I think for me right now, the scariest thing that I'm seeing is the Republican Party continuing a narrative on Fox News that is trying to foster anti-Ukrainian and anti-European / NATO sentiment in the U.S., including at this point when we're asking Republican representatives who started the war. Some of them are even going as far as to not answering or claiming that Russia started this war, or claiming that Ukraine started the war against Russia. And my grandpa was in the military during the Cold War. He was a tank engineer, and he lived in Germany for many years. And he actually spent a lot of time in Eastern Germany under Soviet rule. And he's really, really concerned about U.S. security now against Russia.
Okay.
And I guess what scares me is Russia is a dictatorship. The people there do not have the freedom of speech. Their government has fraudulent elections. Putin has basically taken out all independent media. Any citizen that speaks out against the government will be arrested. And there have been citizens that have been tortured, and they're put in prison for 10 plus years for speaking out against the government. So make no mistake that Russia is a very dangerous country. And it really scares me, and it scares my Republican military family members that Trump is allying himself with Russia here. And I feel like this should be sounding the alarm for Republicans.
Okay. Well, to give some of this back to you, I would first say this narrative is Fox News wishes they could really push this narrative. If Fox News had had their way, we would have had Nikki Haley and more weapons sent to Ukraine. Fox is just going where the wind blows, much like Lindsey Graham, of all people, is these days. I think this narrative has developed more in the alternative media space online, and that's really where this is percolated in this sense has come up. I'll say from my perspective, I remember sitting here, not in this studio, technically the one upstairs, when 2014 happens. And I thought it was nonsense that it even had to happen, that the overthrow of the Ukrainian government happens. I was not shocked when that overthrow occurs that they go after Crimea. And I'm definitely in the camp that I think this was provoked. I think Russia clearly in 2022 crossed the border and invaded. But you have to remember between 2014 and 2022, something like 14,000 people died there. And the Europeans tried.
They died where?
In eastern Ukraine.
Right.
Right. And so
in the Donbass, in the Luhansk and
yes,
and in the Donbass region, when they had the Russian-backed revolution, right? Like Ukraine took like some of those rebels and found out that they were actually Russians. So we know that Russia was already manipulating through propaganda. They were manipulating Eastern Ukrainians into starting this overthrow, and we know that they even supplied weapons to some of these rebel groups, and that they had propagandized them into overthrowing Ukraine. So,
But my underlying point here is that even picking this fight in the name of, I think you're correct in your assessment of the Russian Federation, number one, and how they are a dictatorship. But picking this fight was never a fight that was going to be won, and certainly not in a way that would benefit the people of Ukraine. There are many people predicting after 2014, Ukraine is going to be wrecked out of this. And I'll give you my bottom line. I think it is good to have a moral frame and viewpoint of the world, obviously, but you also have to have the strength and then the prudence on how you use that strength. And I think the long lead up of marching NATO to their borders, and this is not just a Russian talking point, though it is a concern of the Russians. This is something people like William Perry, the defense secretary for Bill Clinton, said in the 90s. This is something that Robert Gates, defense secretary for Obama and Bush, said when he was leading that department in the early aughts. This is something of all folks. George Kennan, the great Cold Warrior, who came up with containment, said, y'all are ruining my life's work by pushing this envelope here. And Kennan made a prediction, because he was so frustrated seeing what he was seeing after we won the Cold War, is that we will march NATO to their doorstep. In particular, Ukraine will be a touch point. And when Russia lashes out, everybody who wanted to expand NATO will say, see, we had to do this. I think at the end of the day, we need to have the strength.
At the end of the day, Ukraine is a sovereign nation, and Russia never signed any documents with NATO saying that NATO will not push east. There is no document that NATO agreed to. That is the Russian narrative. It is the Russian propaganda.
But the Russians have propaganda and a narrative, but the Russians also have interest in the strength to see through their interests, no matter how wicked they are.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, Ukraine was a sovereign nation.
Right.
And so how can we this is the part that
because the geopolitical map is anarchic. It's anarchy. There is no one big boss. In a way, we did play that role after the fall of the wall and the end of the Cold War, but we are only so strong. We only have so much money, and a lot of very smart people within the U.S. government, and without it, said this is going to end in disaster for the people of Ukraine if you keep pushing this.
Let me ask you this.
Mm-hmm.
If Donald Trump, representing the U.S., actually wants peace so that we no longer have to fund Ukraine in their defense against the Russian invasion, wouldn't that deal include the United States saying, hey, if you give us 50% of your mineral rights, we will defend you against Russia trying to invade again? That's a fair deal, right?
No, but that's the big sticking point.
But here's the thing. Okay, the deal that Trump is currently claiming to make is Ukraine. Russia broke the world order and multiple agreements, including the peace agreement between the Ukraine and Russia from like 1996 or 97 or whatever, and they invaded you. Okay? The U.S. has been giving you billions of dollars to fight this war as a sovereign nation against, Russia, but we don't want to give you the money anymore. So here's the deal that Trump's on the table. He said, give the United States 50% of your mineral rights, and Russia will promise not to attack you. And Zelensky said, okay, how is Russia going to keep that promise? And Trump says, well, you just have to trust that they'll keep it. And Zelensky said, can you put in the deal that the United States will start backing Russia, will start backing the Ukraine again if Russia attacks us? And Trump said, no, I don't want to do that. That's the deal. That's why.
But if you project that out in public, this is essentially like a little NATO, and the Russians will push back from the table and the fighting will continue.
Well, the problem is that Trump is claiming that he's making a peace deal, but the peace deal is just give us 50% of your mineral rights,
mm-hmm.
and just trust that Russia won't invade you again. That's what the deal is.
Well, but the underlying idea is,
but Russia has already broken their agreement,
right? But what was the big fight in 2014 about?
So, in 2014, Ukraine was a sovereign nation.
Mm-hmm.
Russia had been propagandizing Eastern Ukrainians and had put Russian citizens inside Ukraine to supply weapons and to back a rebellion against the Ukrainian government because Russia wanted to take over Ukraine before Ukraine became part of NATO.
But before that,
they don't want to stir the hornet's nest of NATO.
Before that, when the Maidan happened, right. What was the conflict over? It was over trade agreement.
Hey, Cindy, can you I'm sorry.
No, you're good.
It's adorable.
You're right.
And so I think it goes back before then. It was a big argument over trade deals, in particular an exclusive trade deal with the European Union. The Russians saw this as a way for the EU to essentially destroy them economically, and essentially this started with economic concerns at first. And so the idea of the U.S. providing the means to harvest these minerals, to invest companies to rebuild the country and have a U.S. presence economically speaking, will probably also lead to more entanglements with Russia economically. And so you settle what started this in the first place. And then, yes, you're going to need certain security guarantees, and ideally it would be the Europeans that bear the brunt of that.
Why would the Europeans give securities when it's the United States that's asking for the mineral rights?
Because it's right on their doorstep, and they should defend their doorstep.
Well, then why is the United States involved in the deal?
Because we provided hundreds of billions of dollars.
Yep.
And because we can provide other leverage points, carrot and stick, with the Russians that nobody else can.
Right.
Do you know how many times NATO Article 5 has been enacted? That is, how many times a country has called upon NATO to defend it in war? It's happened one time when the United States called for European countries to back us in the Middle East after 9/11. Thousands of Europeans died fighting our wars in Iraq and Afghanistan.
That was a mistake.
And now did we ever ask them? Did they ever ask us to pay them back?
Actually,
no,
yeah, we've been paying for their NATO for how long? How long have we been paying for their NATO?
What do you mean paying for their NATO?
We've been paying for their defense for how long? Even Donald Trump in his first go-round brought that up.
The idea...
No, there's no idea. It's either they paid, they didn't pay the money, and that's still part of the fight. We have been paying, and people like myself are tired of paying.
The United States has made military agreements. The United States has... Okay, the cards at the table that the United States brings is the largest singular military force in the world.
Mm-hmm.
Our military hegemony over Europe, the Middle East, and being able to keep a nuclear, check to Russia is our trump card. And Trump is basically throwing that away. So we are not fully defending Europe. We are half of all of NATO's military. And what Trump is doing is he is throwing away that military hegemony. It has vastly benefited the United States to be the world's strongest military.
You think that? And I've often said on this show that start the clock at the end of the Cold War, and now fast forward to where we are now. How do we use our hegemony? And was it to, number one, the benefit of the American people? And I don't think it was. I think it has left us in mountains of debt. I think it has lost, of course, lives. Not to mention all the lives of, say, people in the Middle East.
Because we spent too much on our military spending? Is that what you're saying? How has our military left us in debt?
I think the military spending, the adventures abroad, the wars that went on, whether you're talking about Afghanistan or Iraq, or you can go into the whole Arab Spring operations. I think this has not been to the benefit of the American people. And in particular, if the next real competition is with China, an actual near-peer competitor, we need to be able to focus our resources on them.
I think what's really scary here is that Republicans are showing a blind spot over Trump's clear allyship with Russia, a dictator that has invaded the first sovereign nation on the European continent since World War II. That is alarming. And he's replaced the heads of intelligence. Like, I don't know if you heard, but Trump has now ended sharing our intelligence with the Ukraine. So
right, that's a lot.
He is giving everything to Putin right now to take over this country. All at the idea of, well, we're going to be saving $200 billion. $200 billion? Is that going back in the pockets of the American people? Is it going to pay down our deficit? No. Like none of this is going to be benefiting the working class. It's not going to be bringing down our deficit. It's not going to be bringing down our debt, our total debt in the country. Like, none of this is actually benefiting the American people. And there are real concerns that, like, we are sacrificing military security to a dictatorship that just invaded a sovereign nation.
Have we ever made details? Have we ever made details in the Cold War with dictators?
Have we ever made what?
Deals with dictators.
I don't know.
Like, who's maybe one of our strongest partners right now in the Middle East?
I have no idea. Israel?
Well, some might say Netanyahu's a dictator, but no, Egypt's a pretty strong partner. That's pretty much a dictatorship. Saudi Arabia is a big player in a lot of this. Pretty much a dictatorship. I mean, the way we foolishly treated China over the last 20, 30 years, essentially helping them enrich themselves. I'm saying, my point is, I would look at this in terms of we are needing to reset the order, the global order. And I would, number one,
So that the United States is allied with Russia, a dictatorship?
No, that the United States is not...
tortures and beats it and imprisons its people who speak out against it?
No, that the United States is not entangled and deeply entrenched in Europe, that the Europeans bear more the brunt of that fight if they're so concerned with Russia. And so the United States can actually pivot
So
to
let
the
me
Pacific.
ask you this. You know how Trump said in his address that he didn't have a problem with Biden pulling the United States out of Afghanistan. He had a problem with the way he did it.
Yeah.
The concern right now is, why is Donald Trump, why is the way he is pulling the United States from back in Ukraine, why is it happening rapidly. Why is he immediately ending funds within 2 months of his second term? Why is he stopping intelligence? Like,
To get the
real lives are
Ukrainians
going
to
be
the
lost.
table.
But the Ukrainians are at the table, and the
No,
things
they
they're
haven't
asking for
sounded
is,
like
hey,
they've
we'll
actually
give you
been at the table.
Right.
Ready to
But
actually
they-
engage in this.
The deal that Zelensky said was, I will give you 50% of all the mineral rights of our country if you as the most dominant military power in the world can stop Russia from attacking us. And Trump said, yeah, that's fine. And they said, okay, so if Russia attacks us again, will you put on the document that you will retaliate and you'll back Ukraine? And he's saying, no, I won't do that. So then you're not actually stopping Russia. It's not an actual deal. It's a fake deal to make it sound like, well, we tried and he denied, so that's their problem. It is how Trump is doing this, just like how Biden withdrew us from Afghanistan, that is the problem here. And it really calls into question Trump's allies, his alliance with Russia. And we need to take that seriously. It is a dictatorship.
So how many more people need to die?
Well, how many people are going to die because Trump is withdrawing 50% of the funding immediately? But the thing you're not acknowledging is that the deal isn't even protecting Ukraine.
Well, no, my understanding of the
deal
mineral,
Trump is
the reason they want the mineral deal first is probably as leverage to then move towards a ceasefire, then actually sit at the table and hash out some new order and understanding there. And there's a lot probably happening behind the scenes that we don't know about.
Well, Zelensky said, I'm ready to sign the minerals deal as long as you guarantee that you will back the Ukraine if Russia tries to
And that would
attack us
essentially
again.
scuttle
Because
getting
they
to the
proved-
next steps.
Right.
This
What
is
is the
why,
next
in
step?
particular, Marco Rubio was so upset in all of this. The next step, the mineral deal, would essentially help give the United States economic leverage to then move to the ceasefire. Then you start hashing out an actual arrangement that would involve security, of course. But I think it is a good idea to take nuclear powers and move and it is a good idea to make sure there are buffer zones between nuclear powers. It's then a good idea if we have a relationship of trust but verify with the Russians to move to denuclearization, as well as bringing China and any other nuclear power into that. We don't need as many nukes as we currently have. It's insanity. And then move towards
But what
actually
you're saying
reducing
is-
military spending.
What you're saying doesn't make any business sense. What you're saying is that you're saying, well, here's what I think Trump is going to do. He's going to say, Zelensky, sign over 50% of your mineral rights. And after you do that, then we can figure out if we'll actually protect you from Russia or not. That doesn't make any sense.
No,
And
he's
this
saying
is
the way
why
you
my
actually...
grandpa, who is a long-time military veteran of the Cold War, is like, this is incredibly dangerous. Like, it's so clear.
No, dangerous would be escalating this thing from where it's at. Very dangerous.
Okay, but right. So then, why is Trump suddenly stopping aid? Does it look
Because
like
the
Russia is
Ukrainians,
stopping the war?
Zelensky's, the things you cited Zelensky saying, and the Ukrainians behind the scenes, if you want to trust our Secretary of State, is they don't want to agree to this stuff. They want essentially to have a de facto NATO there. And the United States is saying that's just a non-starter at this point. But hey,
That's not
Aubrey,
That's not true at all. Zelensky,
Aubrey, we've been talking a
Zelensky
long time.
said
I have to hit a break.
he's ready
I'm
for the
about to run
ceasefire.
out of show here. So I appreciate you calling. I appreciate the discussion, and call again.
Cool. Sounds good.
We'll be right back.
He may not know whether he's coming or going, but whether you're going to work or coming home, Greg Budell is there. Mornings 6 till 9 and afternoons 3 till 6. Only on News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
For too long, Alabama's statewide news companies have shamed us for our conservative Christian values. Alabama deserves a news company that cherishes our culture, a company that isn't bought and paid for by the powers that be. 1819 News is that company. Run by Alabamians for Alabamians, 1819 News celebrates what is good and beautiful about our state while exposing those who work against our values in secret. Just go to 1819news.com to learn more. Subscribe to our newsletter. That's 1819news.com.
We all want access to care and coverage we need to stay healthy, but Farm Bureau health plans aren't the answer. They are unregulated and unreliable when it comes to covering you and your family. If you have cancer or another pre-existing condition, well, you'd be out of luck. Alabama deserves better than empty promises. Call your state legislator now and tell them to vote no on Farm Bureau health plans. Visit fightcancer.org/Alabama. It's time for real health insurance.
Paid for by the American Cancer Society Cancer Action Network.
Adams Drugs has been committed to the healthcare of the people of the River region for over 62 years. We value the trust each customer has in our pharmacists, techs, and entire staff. If you have not experienced the difference of Adams Drugs and are not satisfied with the customer service that you get in the big box stores, we invite you to visit any of our locations and see how committed we are to your satisfaction. Adams Drugs offers a variety of services that you will not find in all pharmacies in the River region. Personalized compounding, area-wide delivery, wellness screenings, immunizations, medication consultations, and specialized packaging, just to name a few. Visit us at our website, adamsdrugs.net, and find the location nearest you. Adams Drugs has 12 convenient locations to serve you. Your satisfaction is our #1 goal. Adams Drugs is your local Health Mart pharmacy. Health Mart, taking the time to listen and care.
Hi there, I'm Kim Williams with Alabama Home Mortgage. For years, I've been asking you to call me at Alabama Home Mortgage because there is a difference in mortgage companies. When you call Alabama Home Mortgage, you will immediately see the difference in pricing. Not only do we offer the most competitive rates, but our closing costs rank among the lowest in the industry. How do we do it? Because we can. We do not have the overhead that big banks and lenders do. Those big banks and lenders have big expenses. And what do? They pass those expenses along to you. Meanwhile, here at Alabama Home Mortgage, we receive wholesale rates which result in big savings that we pass along to you. Don't pay more for less. Give Alabama Home Mortgage a call at 567-4223. That's 567-4223. Or visit us online at myalabamahomemortgage.com to complete an application on your time. Our rates and pricing are just one difference that sets us apart from the rest. It's not just a slogan. Call Alabama Home Mortgage because, folks, there is a difference in mortgage companies. NMLS 1586-36-8, Equal Housing Lender.
For 65 years, Guardian Credit Union has been your trusted financial partner. And now we're proud to extend that trust further by introducing Guardian Insurance Services. Whether protecting your home, car, or even your business, we've got the coverage that fits your needs. Our team is here to guide you every step of the way with the personalized service you know and love. Call 334-819-7555 for a free quote today. Guardian Insurance Services, building on 65 years of trust, now safeguarding your future.
This hour of News and Views is brought to you by our good friends at Cole Plumbing, 279-8919. Cole Plumbing is #1 in the #2 business. You don't have to dig a hole. They have proprietary pipelining technology. Ask them about their tankless water heaters. Remember, when you have trouble with your bowl, call on Cole.
We get Montgomery talking 24 hours a day. The River Region's most trusted voice. News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
Welcome back. Let's go right to the phones and talk to Ray Bowles from Prattville Carpet. Hey, Ray, how you doing?
Man, I'm good. Why is it so cold and windy? Isn't winter over?
I thought it was. Then we had this storm
the
last
aftermath
night.
of that storm.
Yeah, and it's chilly out there all of a sudden.
And the storm, it lasted like 3 minutes.
The storm itself,
I'm like,
yeah. The
they
whole
talked
rain
about this for
shower.
a week. And it's like, yeah, okay, well, that was fun.
It was windy. I think it was windy pretty much all day because I was worried about my boat most of the day blowing away. And then you're right. As soon as it quit raining last night, that was the end of that.
End of that. I'm ready for summer. I don't
Me
know
too.
about you. But hey, the daylight savings time, or whatever it is, you get more daylight in a week, right?
Yeah, I think that's this weekend.
Yeah.
This weekend,
I
yeah.
believe so.
Yeah, so we'll all be walking around tired next week, but it'll be worth it.
Yep. Exactly right.
But hey, on another note, if y'all need a floor, call us. 285-8117 will come out and give you that free measurement. Next thing you know, you got a floor down.
Again, that's 285-8117, and be sure to tell them that you heard Ray Bowles on the radio with Joey and Eddie.
And I have to be honest, I didn't watch Trump last night.
Really?
It was all right.
I was watching Auburn basketball and got cut the TV off.
Yep.
It just cut it off completely. And then I got up this morning and watched YouTube, all the highlights, which was great. You know, you can pretty much 2 hours into 10 minutes.
Yeah.
You can get pretty much everything you need to know.
What happened to Auburn last night, by the way? What happened?
I think they just quit. They said, hey, we're in. We're going to be the number one seed. They don't care at this point.
I guess that's
They
it.
quit.
That explains it better than anything else.
Bruce Pearl better knock some sense into him. Well, I appreciate it, Ray.
Or they might have had a bunch of alcohol in there in the extra room when they showed up.
Could have been.
Yeah.
That could have been.
Yeah. Either one. It was awful. So.
Yep.
All right, guys. Y'all have a great day.
See you, Ray.
See you, Ray. Hey, I'm kind of interested to go to Troy real quick. Hey, Troy, we don't have much time, but what's up?
I'm going to dump this in 45 seconds before we get started. Let's pray for that woman's husband. Okay.
Of course.
Let's pray for her husband because she's wearing it out. And here's the deal: she needs to go read Karl von Clausewitz's Art on War and understand that war is nothing more than politics continued at a higher level. And that's the reality of what's up, and we need to look after ourselves. I care deeply about the loss of life, but as a former, there is nothing that you can rationalize about it, and we just need to move forward. The other thing I wanted to say was that there is no international law. I was told by a professor when I went to the law for a year. It's he who has the most weapons makes the law.
Yep.
Yeah. Last argument of Kings, or talk to the cannon, bitch.
That's it.
Is kind of the idea.
Thank you, Troy.
But I appreciate it, Troy.
Love you, brother.
Bye, fellas.
And no, actually, I genuinely appreciate Aubrey calling in.
It was a good conversation.
She was not disrespectful.
Not
she
at
was just
all.
making her points.
And I got to hear a cute baby kind of giggling in the background.
Yeah, that
kind of made my day.
That kind of
right
made my day, too.
there.
It was adorable.
Right.
Anyway, y'all stay tuned. Happy Hour with Greg Vidal. He's next.
Broadcasting from the Riverside Chevrolet Master Control Center, this is WACV Cusana News Talk